What's going on, everybody, and happy Wednesday, December 22nd, a couple days from a pretty fun holiday and Christmas, and it is the finale of Hawkeye. We as Marvel fans right now, it's a pretty awesome last few days or last week or so between this and Spider-Man and other news that we'll be talking about today. Doctor Strange making more Spider-Man movie without Tom Holland, all that fun stuff. It's a lot of fun discussions to be had tonight. I'm so excited to be here with you all. Myself, my amazing co-host, some really awesome special guests. It's going to be a fun time, and I'm so excited to break it all down. But hey, before we get into the conversation, do me a quick favor. It means a lot if you all can give this video a thumbs up. Also, share it to anyone you know that loves Marvel and loves Hawkeye and all the fun discussions we'll be having tonight. It means a lot. But more importantly, every one of these guests and co-hosts is on this screen on tonight's stream. Make sure you give them a follow, subscribe, check out their content. Some awesome people, some amazing content creators, and you guys will definitely not be disappointed if you check them out. But with all that said, want to start off by introducing my co-host and just a little speech for them right quick. I'm referring to Amanda and Chris, who I'm going to bring in a second. This journey started at the beginning of the year, which started with WandaVision. Went on down to Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If. We talked Eternals. We talked recently with Spider-Man, and I couldn't be more happy to have them with me on this journey throughout this entire year. And of course, all the amazing guests we've had on here, including tonight's guest. Amanda, Chris, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate you all. So with that being said, I'm going to bring in Amanda first. Introduce yourself, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. What's going on?
Gonna cry. It's been like legit. Like you don't even. It's been a journey. You don't even realize like since January. It feels like this year has just been a whole blur. But it's been so much fun hanging with you guys and the guests that you bring on, this community that you're building, Elliot. Like it's just an honor to be here with you and Chris every single time there's a Marvel show or a movie since we did Spider-Man. Yeah. So
it's been awesome, man. Again, I really appreciate you, man. But hey, let the fine folks know where you at, where they can find you. The stage is yours.
Yeah, of course. Well, Christmas is hectic. I've been trying to do all sorts of things. But yeah, I have my year wrap up that's going to be dropping probably next week. I have to catch up on like Tragedy of Macbeth and Nightmare Alley and all of those movies. You can check out my website, candidcinema.com. Everything's up there. My Spider-Man No Way Home review's up. The Kingsman review is up as well. So I'll have a couple more for you guys. And you can always check out my Twitter, Letterboxd, and Instagram. It's at AMXND Reviews. I talk some mad shit on those on those platforms, and they're all hot takes majority of the time. So yeah, come follow.
Amanda, are you telling me there are other movies out there besides Spider-Man right now? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, they're canceling shows, so I don't know how well it's gonna do. So,
guys, you heard her. Check her out on the website. Check her out on all her various other platforms. She's so great. She has a lot of great takes, hot takes, but good takes nonetheless. So that was one of our amazing co-hosts, and this gentleman here has been on the journey as well, representing the East Coast. Talking about my main man, Chris from Tait's Take. What's going on, man?
What up? What up? They do be some hot takes, but they ain't the hottest.
Right.
It's good. It's okay. It's good.
How we doing, man? How we doing today, Chris?
Doing good, man. I'm out here, bro. Excited to get this Marvel discussion in. You know the vibes.
Yeah, man. See, rocking the HBO. We got a little sponsorship going, man. We've got some deals going on.
It's just we doing some throwback merch right now. Throwback is in right now. So you got the vintage. Remember the throwback logo? It's not TV. It's HBO.
There you go.
So we're just taking it back a little bit.
No doubt, Chris. Hey, like I said to Amanda, man, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a journey, and I'm just so appreciative of you, man. But hey, let the fine folks at home know where you are at and what you're all about.
Yeah, you're right. We have been going. That was a good speech. Let me not even step on your toes there. That was a very good speech. I know Amanda probably crying already, but we got to go through the whole show. But yeah, shout out to the people that's in the chat, and shout out to anyone who comes in and tunes in every week. So y'all are the real MVPs. But if someone's new here, my name is Chris Tait. I represent Tait's Take. All the information is up in the bio and stuff like that. But I do movie reviews, TV reviews, documentaries, all that kind of stuff. Give you a little background, let you know if I think it's worth checking out or not. That's something you're into. You can subscribe and check it out. But yeah, this is a good part of the YouTube journey is doing these kind of collabs, and you're one of the best in the biz and bringing in the people that I just used to watch as a fan, and now here I am talking Marvel with them. Life is crazy, but yeah, happy to join again.
No doubt, man. Again, Amanda and Chris, their links are in the bio, and we'll talk at the end too, because I'm just super appreciative of these two. But as they mentioned, we've been fortunate enough to have some incredible content creator, incredible people join the discussion every single week. This gentleman here is no stranger to the channel. He was just on Sunday talking Spider-Man, and I'm super thankful that he was able to tune in tonight or join us tonight because he had some stuff he was taking care of earlier that would have compromises the immune system, and but this man is an Avenger. He is ready to go. He's excited to talk about this show. I'm talking about the one and only Michael from Black Gay Comic Geek. What's going on, Michael?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good, man. How are you doing? It's the better question. How are you doing right now?
I'm good. I'm a little sore, and my head's starting to hurt a little bit. But
that means it's working.
Right. Yeah, overall it's good. I'm just like feeling my arm just like moving. So yeah, for those of you that in the chat, I just got my booster for COVID in this arm, and then I got my flu shot in this arm earlier this morning. So I'm
at the same damn time.
Yeah, at the same. I'm trying to get all the powers. I don't know if you saw that.
Superhero in the
making. Skip from Rich Black Guy. Yeah, I'm like, so I'm starting to feel it. So,
gotcha, man. Well, Michael, again, man, I'm thinking this is like the 13th, 14th, 15th collaboration, and many more to come, man. I'm super thankful for you to coming on tonight. But hey, man, why don't you let the fine folks at home know where you're at and where they can find you, man?
Hello, chat. I am Black Gay Comic Geek. My name is Michael. I always say the things I love to talk about in my fantasy and on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk about comic books, superheroes, video games, fantasy, sci-fi, and I also like to talk about Black representation and queer representation. So if that's something that you're interested in, pull up to the channel. Also got a TikTok. I just hit 100,000 followers last week on TikTok.
So hell yeah.
I can't even fathom those types of numbers. That is fucking crazy to me. But yeah, so for any of you that are following me on TikTok, thank you. But if you're not, pull up and check me out on TikTok. So
definitely do so. And again, congratulations to you, Michael, man. The content, man. I remember the first video I saw you, I'm like, oh, this dude is dope. And I've been a fan ever since, man. And again, congratulate you to the awesome success and the continued success, because this is just one of many things, many more milestones to come for you, man. But
I've told you this before. I've been a fan of your channel. Like the first time I came across you was through Griff, when you used to do the live streams with him. And I was like, oh, this seems like a guy I want to know. So the first time you hit me up, it was like, hey, would you be interested in joining me on a live stream? I was like,
there it is.
Me? Who am I? Like this is movie files. Like, so yeah, I appreciate all the times that I've been on this channel for this year and meeting everybody, Chris, Amanda. Now I'm about to meet Austin, meeting Griff. Like, I appreciate you for even considering me to be on your channel.
Oh man, it's my pleasure, man. And like Michael just brought up, and Chris, this is our next guest. This gentleman here, I don't normally talk about like my inspirations and kind of what got me kind of in this set as far as movie files go, but I saw this gentleman many years ago. You talk about grind and hustle and continuously putting out great content, great videos, reviews, reactions, you name it. The community this dude has brought onto the platform is incredible. We've had him on earlier this year, I believe, for a WandaVision. I'm so excited to have him here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the one and only Austin Burke. What is going on, Austin? How we doing, man?
Man, this is a good-looking group of people. Let me tell you, you guys, I mean, I love this panel. I love everyone. And you guys know, Michael, first time being on here with you, dude. This is so cool. Like, I'm geeking out right now. So I appreciate you, Elliot, for letting me come on and talking more Marvel, man. It's been a Marvel heavy last couple of weeks.
Marvel month, right? It's officially Marvel month, ladies and gentlemen. It is crazy, awesome. How you been, man?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Just I made 3 videos today, working on my end of the year list, trying to get all the crazy trying to get all the crazy stuff out of the way, man, and just get ready for New Year's, man. Hopefully gonna chill out, spend it with my wife and my dog, and not worry about videos. So we'll
hear
see.
you, man. I hear you. It's like us as the content creators, we could all relate to this. It's like, oh, we take like a day or two off, and it's like, man, I gotta get back to the grind. I feel like I've been listening out. It's like right back into it. But Austin, man, if for whatever reason, if someone out there on the internet's been under a rock or they have dial-up internet and they just don't know where you're at and what you're about, man, why don't you fill the fine folks at home out and let them know where they can find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me youtube.com, Austin Burke, trying to talk literally everything I can, from Netflix to streaming to just pop culture in general. I also write reviews on Letterboxd, and Michael mentioned TikTok. I just started making TikTok videos like this week. So if you guys want to find me on there, I'm still trying to figure out how it works and how awkward I am on camera on this type of screen instead of this type of screen. But I'm starting to do stuff on there. Maybe I'm overwhelming myself, man, but I can't get enough movie and TV talk. So I'm trying to do everything I can.
Nice.
I hear you, man. I tried to TikTok, and again for Michael out there and all the great content creators, it is a skill. I'd say that, because it's like you got the timing. It's like a clock going, and it's just like you got to cut it. It's
not
a skill.
I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I'm making videos. I'm just like,
hey, you got it down pat, bro. You got your lane, and you are killing it, man. So shout out to you guys again, for Amanda, Chris, Michael, and Austin. All their links are in the bio, guys. Check them out. Again, great people, amazing content creators, and you'll
really
love their
quick,
stuff.
I gotta ask this question as a fan of his channel.
Yes, shoot for it.
Can I ask you, like, when the hell do you sleep? Like, I feel like you come out with like 5 videos a day, and I'll be struggling just to come out with one. So like, what is going on?
Well,
secret sauce, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. and it was funny because I was talking to Madison, my wife, about this literally this morning, because I got up for Hawkeye, and then she came down here when she was going to work. She's like, "You going to bed?" I'm like, "No, honey, I'm working on my tier list." And she's like, and she, she's in the same bed with me, and she's like, "I don't ever see you here. You're never here." I've been trying to sleep a little more as of late, because it's starting to like take a toll on my eyeballs. Like, I'm having to go legitimately get my eyes checked this week, because I think I'm watching too much stuff. But I'm trying to be a little bit more like, you have to take time. Probably about 4 hours a night, though. That's where I'm at right now. So we're working on it.
Guys, you see the background in the multiverse of man. I think Austin has tapped into the multiverse. He's able to be in these multiple timelines. Exactly.
So many variants.
Yes,
well, that is a
perfect Turner, to throw a Harry Potter reference.
There you go, man. Yeah. But this is a perfect segue to lead into, as you all can see in the background. If you all have seen Spider-Man, this a little spoiler. This movie was Michael's seen it 3 times, and Amanda, have you seen it a couple times now? Twice, Chris?
Now.
Have you seen it? Just the one. Same here, Austin. Have you seen it multiple times?
3.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
I'm behind the 8 ball.
Boost those numbers, fam.
We gotta see it, man. We're behind on it. But as you all may know, at the end of the film, before we get to Venom post-credit scene, the second one was a actual trailer. We won't play it here, just for YouTube sometimes a little weird with trailer being played on YouTube. But nonetheless, we got the official trailer. Amanda, I'm kicking it to you first. I know we talked about it briefly on Sunday, but now seeing it on the computer, you can pause it. Who's that? Frame that, all that stuff. How do you feel about this trailer? Are you more excited for it? Are you like, I'll just see it when I see it? How do you feel about Sam Raimi also back directing a comic book series? How you feeling about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
I'm excited for it, like any other Marvel project. I think because we kind of got the multiverse in like Loki, and we got it in No Way Home that exceeded our expectations. I don't know how much more they can like possibly show us and make it work. I think that's my main worry, is that they could overstuff this one, because like there could be more cameos. We don't know. I'll be excited for that. Or we can also set ourselves up for disappointment with that. But I just feel like there's so much that you can do with this, that the script better be really polished in order for us to actually have a good story in regards to Doctor Strange. A variant, and like the dark Doctor Strange and all of that. So I think that I'm worried, but I'm also excited for this. So
I'm worried a little bit too. And if you guys watched our almost 3-hour video we did on Sunday with Spider-Man, the more we've seen Doctor Strange, the less of a fan I've become of him. The only version of that character I've liked so far is in Infinity War. And Spider-Man did not help me in regards to liking him more. And we talked about it on Sunday. But Chris, man, your thoughts on seeing this trailer? Again, so far we're thinking that Doctor Strange variant from potentially What If is the villain, but I don't know, man. Is there multiple variants? Is Wanda maybe another variant of herself in this trailer that we got here? What you thinking so far, Chris?
Yeah, and when I watched Spider-Man, I hated the Venom post-credit scene. for reasons we talked about for 3 hours last week. But when I got to Strange, I didn't love the trailer, and to be fair, I didn't rewatch it when it came on YouTube, so I've only seen it just watching it from the movie on that Thursday. But I didn't love it, but I also really didn't like these Spider-Man trailers before the movie came out, and obviously that movie is epic and changed my life.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be that kind of thing where it's like the trailer's kind of weak. Maybe the next trailer will be more impactful.
Yeah.
But it didn't increase my excitement. I just have very high faith in Marvel to just give us a good movie, and maybe less confidence to give us a good trailer.
Yeah.
I talk about it every time. Like that Batman trailer is literally epic. Like that movie, I have high faith that movie's going to be good, but that trailer is like, if we can learn anything from DC, and we can't learn much. We can we can learn about their trailers, because I love that. I love what they're doing with that Batman trailer. No diss.
That was
I didn't. It was this. I don't love that Doctor Strange trailer, but I just feel like the movie will be fine.
We'll see, man. Again, Sam Raimi, he is directing this, which I will say from the trailer, it didn't feel as Sam Raimi as I was anticipating. Like I felt like kind of, I don't want to say stereotypical Marvel, but I'm hoping that this trailer, it has a lot of secrets that it kept from us. And obviously, like you alluded to, Chris, there's many more to come. But tossing it to you, Austin, we get American Chavez. We see, again, the variants of Doctor Strange. We see Wong tied up. Seeing, something going to happen to him. He's going to lose that title in the next film. Your thoughts on this trailer, man, and are you excited for Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness?
I am excited, and I like the trailer because it doesn't really tell us that much. And I feel as if they're going to start doing this a bit more often after seeing what went down with Spider-Man and not revealing, even though everyone and their grandma knew, not revealing that information. And Multiverse of Madness, if they even remotely pull from some of these comic storylines and then do what I expect them to do, pulling in other characters from other universes, it's going to be bigger than No Way Home. Now, it's not going to pull on as many nostalgic threads as No Way Home, so it may not have that emotional impact, but it's going to be bigger. So I feel as if they stick with what they're showing us now, a little bit of Scarlet Witch, just a little bit of his variant, and don't show us anything else, I'm completely fine, because I want this movie to blow our minds in a way that we're not going to see in the marketing. And so, and obviously they're going to reveal more, but if they can just kind of contain it to what they have right now, I'm going to be A-okay, and I'm going to be ready for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you guys alluded to it, and with you, Michael, the leaks that we got with Spider-Man, I don't expect that for Marvel. Again, that was a Sony property, and we all know Sony and leaks and emails being sent out, all that. They don't have the best security. Like their security guards are constantly on break. But Michael, the cameos out there, there's been a lot of rumors, man, about the reshoots last week were to involve new cameos, because some actors were obviously busy with other films, obviously COVID and all that stuff. So cameos, X-Men, Illuminati, does that get you excited, Michael, for this film?
Well, first, I stayed away from all rumors and leaks and everything like that regardless. So I don't know any of it. But as far as my level of excitement for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, like, I'm hyped. Yeah. Like when they announced Multiverse of Madness, that was like my favorite or most anticipated movie property that they announced in all of Phase 4, because I know just how big this movie is going to be. Austin mentioned that he thinks it's going to be bigger than No Way Home. I think it's going to be bigger than No Way Home and Endgame, because the Multiverse of Madness, like, you're bringing in all the madness. Like, who knows where this is going to go? We constantly kept talking about WandaVision perhaps bringing in X-Men. We talked about Eternals perhaps bringing in X-Men. We have the multiverse. We can say, like, almost in a Crisis of Infinite Earths type of way with the Flash, like, the X-Men live over here, and now they're in this new universe, and they wiped the universe, and now everything is explained where the X-Men are in this new universe. Or they could keep them over here, and they could jump between the universes or whatever. But either way, I feel like this movie is going to have supremely vast consequences, like the Sorcerer Supreme.
One would hope.
Yeah, throughout the next phase of the MCU, like it can lead into Doctor Doom. Maybe we'll finally get Mephisto, and I'm gonna keep pushing it,
Michael.
I'm gonna keep pushing it, but I'm super excited about this movie, and the trailer got me even more excited. Like, just in the ominous nature of the trailer, like, I'm hoping that this movie is super dark, like dark, and I'll be very upset if they sell me a wrong bag of goods where it because where you kind of think of like the Age of Ultron trailer, like no strings on me. It seemed like it was gonna be dark, and then you have Ultron making fucking puns and shit. It was like, come on, guys, like
terrible.
Leave Ultron alone.
So hopefully they don't do that with this movie, because I know there were rumors about them diving more into the horror-esque aspect of Doctor Strange. If they continue with that, like nutting all over the movie theater, like I'm
It's well, so don't sit next to Michael if you go to see this film.
Don't sit next to
what we learned
those
there.
poor cleaners.
Stay away. But you guys said a lot of good stuff. Like I said, I have my reservations because I am not on a Doctor Strange like train right now. You're not
on the anti-Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's been letting me down lately, but I'm hoping that Sam Raimi brings something new. I know Michael brought up the whole horror thing, and that was apparently why Scott Derrickson was removed, because he really wanted to dive deep into the horror. We know, Kevin doesn't want to fully go there, but we'll see, man. But this gets me excited again. Loki, will he make an appearance again? We
need that. After
seeing Spider-Man and the characters that make their appearance, I think it's almost a given that some X-Men character has to make an appearance in this film, whether it's Hugh Jackman as Wolverine or, we'll see. But I'm expecting some big cameos, but importantly, I'm expecting to like Doctor Strange. That's what I want to do. That's my goal by the end of this movie. I want to be in the Doctor Strange fan group because I know a lot of people love him. I just want some more from the character. But let us know in the chat, guys, how you're feeling about this trailer. Are you excited for it? What cameos are you looking forward to seeing? Because, again, if rumors are to be said that those reshoots involved adding more characters, adding more circumstances, some people bringing up Deadpool out there, it could be, as Michael said, as big as what we got with Spider-Man and maybe as big as an Avenger film. So we'll see. And Sam Raimi, good luck. Good luck to you, my friend. I'm rooting for you, Sam, because I'm a big fan of him. But we
make till May. That's the,
and then I mean, apparently with John Wick getting delayed a year, and I'm hoping Batman stays, and I'm hoping this film stays, but we're getting some delays. But hey, we're not going to speak that into existence. We're going to call Doctor Strange.
Please, God, no.
And not have any of
no
that
more,
nonsense. No more delays. No more delays. But we talked about Spider-Man this weekend, and we briefly talked about this, but I want to start with you, Michael, in regards to this campaign that's going out there in regards to Mr. Andrew Garfield. This is, by the way, spoiler for Spider-Man if you all have not seen it. Let's just say Spider-Man are in this film, and one of them being Andrew Garfield. There's a campaign out there, hashtag Make the Amazing Spider-Man 3 out there, and it's gaining some big momentum. And there's been rumors out there that Marvel and Andrew and even Toby have been discussing maybe having more films with them. Is that something you're looking forward to seeing, Michael? And if so, in what form? In a Venom universe, the Miles Morales mentor conversation has been had. How would you like this narrative be continued if this is something that happens in the future?
Yeah, as far as the Amazing Spider-Man 3, I will put myself as the water boy for this campaign because I want it to happen very badly, especially after No Way Home. And I made a video about this on TikTok where I'm just like, this is the perfect opportunity to throw him into the Morbius universe, because you see a poster of Morbius with a Spider-Man in the background that says murderer. And it would make sense for what was said in No Way Home, where he said after the death of Gwen, he stopped pulling his punches. What does that mean? That he murdered somebody? If Spider-Man's not pulling his punches, he's killing folk. There's no way around that. So it would make absolute sense for what you already set up in Morbius. And then he could be the villain for Venom. Let him fight his alien. And then this movie could be about his redemption arc and him healing and coming out of that darkness, and let him finally meet his MJ. You got Toby already has his MJ. Peter already has his MJ. Let Andrew get his MJ, but let MJ be a guy. His name is Marcus Johnson Watson. Let Andrew Garfield get his wish.
I need
this version of Peter Parker being bi, and I'll be here for it. Don't shake your head, Chris. I see you shaking.
I love it. Make it happen.
Make it happen. We already got two straight Peter Parkers. Give me a buy one in the new
Anything is possible, man. Austin, same with you. Just briefly, I know you had a great spoiler review you did on your channel, and you did the non-spoiler, and I know you're a big fan of it. But just briefly, man, what was your reaction to seeing Andrew in No Way Home, and then of course your thoughts on this potential, Amazing Spider-Man 3?
I was excited. I'm sitting there like, oh man, I love Andrew. I think he's the best actor of the three. Even though Tom,
I agree.
Tom, he's getting there, right? But I think Andrew's the best actor. But I'm sitting there waiting for Toby because I grew up with Toby, and And that's kind of the one that I was super thrilled about. But man, Andrew kind of stole the movie. Like,
Yeah, man.
He kind of stole the movie, and he made me sit back and go, oh, like, why weren't his movies just up to caliber? Because I think he had the potential to be the definitive best Peter Parker Spider-Man we've ever seen. And we got a great example of that in this film. So when it comes to bringing him back, and whether it be introducing Miles Morales, now that storyline's tricky because and it doesn't have to happen. We've seen it different incarnations, but most of the time, your Peter Parker is going to die when Miles Morales comes in. And so I hate to say this, hate to say it, but I'd kind of rather Miles come into Tobey's universe. And it's going to break everyone's hearts. But Andrew is like Oscar nominated this year on this acting high. So I want to see Andrew go and then just keep going. Right. Yeah. So whether that be, combining him with the Tom Hardy Venom universe, Michael, I love what you were saying, bringing in all the Morbius, these characters, right. And inevitably going down a similar path, maybe do his own Sinister Six, just not the one that they were setting up originally. So I think that's the route they have to go. And Sony separating these two Spider-Men, logically a couple of months ago, well, the general audience, they're not going to understand that. No. No Way Home proved that everyone can completely comprehend that. And I believe this is the perfect chance to get a good story together and make two separate universes. And with Tobey, maybe even three.
A lot of good stuff being said there. And the question I have for you, Chris, is it never enough Spider-Man, but would it be too much Spider-Man to have a Spider-Man Andrew world, potentially a Tobey situation, Tom, and of course we got the animations. Would it be oversaturating the market with too many Spider-Man, or you just can't have enough of them?
I think to a fan, we're always going to say no, it's not too much. But if I'm sitting in the marketing rooms, I'm going to have to have that conversation. And people always make the comparison. There's so many Batman, there's so many Spider-Man, but I don't think they've ever been at the same time. Like they just, it's, I've got, in my generation, I got the Keatons, and then separately we got my man that did the Riddler and with Jim Carrey. Then you get George Clooney for whatever reason, if you want to count that. Then you get, our Christopher Nolan. So it's like, it's always been separate. So it'd be new, I think, for us to be seeing Spider-Man's currently acting in different universes. It'd be a conversation to have in the studio. And I think it's fair to challenge that. We as fans want to see it all. And I love Mike's idea of bringing him into that universe. Because then I don't think it's too weird. And I love Austin's point by saying, like, yeah, we get it. Like the crowd gets it. So it's it's not above them. So I just think you need to have that conversation, because we could be in a little hype mode where we're like, we just saw the movie. Yeah, this is what we want more of, and then we get it, and then maybe it doesn't do as well, and then it's like, well, it's a lot of risk that goes in it, especially when Tom is just on this high right now. So it's like, his momentum is crazy. He just, they're talking about another trilogy. So I'm sure the people who really are making the money have to make some serious thoughts, about that whole conversation. But yeah.
It's very true. And to your to bring it to you, Amanda, going off of Chris Lass's point, Tom does need a break. These films have been coming out consistently since 2017. And not only that, the man has been popping into the Avengers movies. Yeah. He's an actor. He's a working actor. He loves the jobs, but he's doing this new Uncharted. He's a young man. He's 25 years old. He's I'm sure more than happy than the opportunity he has now. But I think he needs a little bit of a break. So, I mean, that would be a great segue to say, hey, let's not stop this Spider-Man momentum. Let's get some Andrew Garfield. Maybe every other year, every 2 years, we have a new Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, whatever the mix may be. Is that something you'd be interested in? Or would it be like, okay, so too much Spidey going on for you?
Listen, we with No Way Home, okay, audiences love this character. It is he is Marvel's top dog. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, Iron Man, that's fine, but Spidey's been here since day one for a lot of us, and especially with Raimi's 2002 Spider-Man, that was one of my first superhero films ever that I sat and I watched, and it hit. And Spider-Man is a part of all of us. 2 decades worth of nostalgia was wrapped into No Way Home. So there's never enough Spidey. There's never enough Spidey. And I said this before, and I thought that not that Tom was gonna not do the movies anymore, but I said that it would be really cool if Andrew just stepped in for a while. I've been saying that. And what Michael said, it's perfect if we bring him into the Venomverse because it's a bit more mature. If you have Craven, you have Morbius, you have Venom, like it's a bit more mature villains for like Andrew, who's technically a veteran Spidey to take on. And it'd be really cool to see that. But I love the idea of having alternate versions, like just so Tom can get a little break because he's at the top of his game at 25.
Yeah.
Jesus, like it's incredible what he's been able to do. And top 3 of his films are the highest grossing. Like, come on. That's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I'm all for this. Give me Andrew. He's gonna win an Oscar 100% this year. So next year, but it'll happen.
And from a marketing perspective, to me, it makes perfect sense because Spider-Man is the most well-known and marketable character in terms of merchandising and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And this can also be Sony's way of double dipping a little bit because even with the Marvel Spider-Man movies, they're still getting all the profits. Yeah. It's just Marvel is able to use the character. And so now you're doing another Spider-Man movie where you're getting even more of the profits, but it's still 2 separate Spider-Men. So it's like, and it's really Sony's only major franchise except for like Jumanji, which is another movie that made a lot of money. But other than that, like what other Sony property makes money? Like none. So like they want to keep their studio alive because I feel bad for Paramount because I feel like Paramount, they're probably going to go under because like every movie, like Clifford the Big Red, they're like, who the fuck is checking for Clifford?
Hey.
but I'm like, it would make sense for them to do this with the 2 Spider-Man movies as opposed to like an Aunt May movie that they were planning. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, no, do 2 Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
And
that's my only fear to your point, Michael, the Aunt May thing, the Cravens, all the spinoffs. You know, it's so weird with Sony. We have the Raimi stuff, which a lot of us hold as especially Spider-Man 2 is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Say what you will about the Amazing Spider-Man. They weren't the perfect film. So it's like a little bit of a roller coaster. Then you get, Sony doing the Into the Spider-Verse. So it's like, if they do Andrew Garfield, I don't think Marvel will have anything to do with it. It would just be like a Sony individually made project without Kevin Feige's magic and all that stuff. So it'll be really interesting to see if they do get this second chance with Toby or Andrew, if they can, shoot us to the moon and make something great.
Plus, they have to know that all of our qualms with the Amazing Spider-Man movies, none of them are with Andrew. It's nothing he did.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if they're getting Mr. Mark Webb on the phone if they do continue that, because that he was the director.
Visually, chances. I have to admit the web slinging, the shots that he did for Andrew's Spidey was like incredible. So like I wouldn't mind that. It's the script.
Yeah,
literally the script. But oh my God, Mark Webb worked wonders for him.
He did. Yeah. He did his thing. So,
and the last thing I'll say, and the beauty of it is, they won't have to like trying to bullshit us with giving us a Kraven the Hunter movie or Silver Sable and Black Cat movies that we don't want. If they're already doing their own Spider-Man, they can give us these characters, auxiliary characters, and maybe make us fall in love with them where they can eventually get their own spinoff, but have them introduced first in a Spider-Man movie, which is something that we are more than likely guaranteed to go see, especially if it's, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and then Marvel can still do their own thing over here without Sony interfering, and then Sony could do their own thing over here without having to worry about Marvel's plans and everything. Like I think it's a no-brainer, which to me tells me they're probably not going to do it because they don't do smart decisions. But Sony, if you're listening to this, which I don't, who knows, do it. Like
just do it.
I won't even charge you for the idea.
We'll see, man. Again, it's a great time to be a Spider-Man fan. It's so funny now because, obviously Marvel started off with their C-list, B-list characters, Iron Mans and all the different stuff. And now they finally have the crown jewel in Spider-Man, and they've shown you what they can do with them when done right. So we'll see what the future of the character holds, whether, Tom Holland, Andrew, or Toby, Into the Spider-Verse, Miles. It's a great time to be a fan of Spider-Man. And again, Amanda, I say this every week, but man, we can't even get a Man of Steel 2. We got 14 Spider-Man. We got a million Batman, but Henry's he's doing this Witcher thing, which I love, but can we get my man back in the cape? But either way, neither here nor there. We got an episode, a finale to talk about in Hawkeye. Starting with you, Amanda. We're going to talk about overalls of the season and all that stuff. But after you got done, which by the way, This is the first time in a long time. When we heard last week, this might be an hour-long episode. I'm like, okay, we'll see. It'll be an hour and 30 minutes
That's
of
WandaVision.
yeah, it'll be 30 minutes of credits. But to be fair, this was a 51-minute long episode with the credits and the post-credit scene. But Amanda, just your general take on this episode before we dive deep into it. Were you happy the way things ended, or are you feeling a certain way?
Sure. I guess I was happy with it. I feel like it was a longer episode, but everything was rushed. And there were so many scenes that I wanted, I just wanted them to breathe. Like, there are really important scenes in this finale that it was just like, it kept cutting to something new, and it took away from certain moments that I wish were a bit longer. I'm kind of underwhelmed with this entire series. I've said it for every single episode. Unfortunately, it's a fun, like, Christmassy series, and we get like Kate and Clint, which is great. That's the main point of all of this, is to see them and their banter and watch Kate grow in this series and eventually be like a major player in the future, which is awesome. But yeah, this episode was just underwhelming for me. It was a good finale, but I expected a bit more, and not that it's all crammed together. So,
Chris, man, how you feeling about this finale? Similar to Amanda, or were you just like over the hills, loved it, Kingpin, Hawaiian shirts, let's do it?
Listen, and I don't want to take too much of your time here, but I finished this episode, and I hoped, and I hated it, but I came on here and I was like, damn, I hope I'm not that guy that's like hated it, and then everybody loves it, and then Hawkeye's the best show ever. Because I know I got to stand on my own toes, but I don't want to be that guy all the time. But and we'll see how y'all feel about it. But I did not like this episode. And to give context, because I know Michael wasn't on. Well, he was in the chat, but he wasn't on with us last when we talked about episode 5.
Yeah,
that episode was one of my favorite episodes, not of just Hawkeye, but of all of the Marvel shows that have been on Disney Plus. Because Yelena is my dog, and she came in like a wrecking ball. Loved everything about that episode. It like, I didn't love Hawkeye 1 through 4. I didn't think it was whack. I just wasn't loving it. 5, I was like, okay, this is now okay. It might has the chance to just finish off, and then now it's like a great show, and it's in the conversation as one of the best. This episode I thought was complete nonsense. I thought it was very childish. I'm just now getting into Daredevil. So I don't know.
He's literally in the thick of things.
And imagine me seeing, and from what I'm hearing now, it's like, this is a different kind of Kingpin. So I'm thinking this is the Kingpin that everyone's talking about. This guy, this cartoon that I'm watching on the screen, who's getting shot with arrows and just walking away. And like, does he have powers? Does he not have powers? He didn't seem scary. His face is twitching. It all was like nonsense. But from what I'm reading and hearing, it's like, it's not the same Kingpin that you guys are getting in Daredevil. Yeah, and this dude, was more of a badass, was darker, was more treacherous. I was just very disappointed with this episode. Like, they're starting to prepare to go to war, and it was just like Home Alone. As soon as Kevin decides that he wants to set up the traps in his house, and they put the same Home Alone music on, I was like, this is what we're doing. This is crazy. I was very, very disappointed. Yelena, who was my favorite from last week, she just out there, like, it was like Martha, it was that all over again. This dude does this. I know we're going to break it down. So I love it.
I love it. We will be talking about Kingpin, no doubt. My fears have come true about the version of the character, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Austin, man, we got 2 people that Amanda, is okay. Chris didn't like it. Where are you at, my friend? Was it an episode? Was it the best finale of the series, of any of the series, or was it kind of meh for you?
No, it wasn't the best. I liked it. I liked the episode. I think they definitely rushed through a couple of things. They tried to fit. I feel like this should have been 8 episodes instead of 6. I think that's the biggest problem with the show.
Do something different every season. Why do you have to do? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I so many things, and I said this, trying to juggle all of these elements and then bring them home in one episode, even though the episode was close to an hour, is a very tough thing to do. Now, I think they did a few of them justice, and I think the culmination of a lot of them worked for me, right? The confrontation between Yelena and Hawkeye, the battles towards the end, I thought were really good. And honestly, honestly, I thought the action in this episode was better than the action. That was my biggest issue with some of the other episodes. The action just didn't look very good, in my opinion. I thought the action looked good in this episode. But when it comes to Kingpin, I want to know, how many of y'all have read Kingpin in the comic books? I want to know. Show of hands. All right, Michael? Okay.
I only know Kingpin from Spider-Man, the animated series. Growing
Same,
up. That's how I was introduced to Kingpin.
Same.
So this actually felt like comic. Now, there's more than a few variations of Kingpin. And some he gets really dark, and then others he's more kind of like your conventional-esque crime boss, but he has this very eccentric personality, and it's almost like he's bubbly sometimes. It's a weird way to describe him. But I felt that in this, and I went into this episode expecting reboot version of Kingpin, not the version from Daredevil, because I knew I'm like Kevin Feige is not going to bring him on Disney Plus and give us the TVMA version.
Yeah,
it's not.
You're right.
Truck head smashing version of Kingpin.
It's not happening. And when Kate Bishop's fighting him at the end, I'm like, well, if this was Netflix Kingpin, he'd take her head and he'd slam it in the glass and probably cut her face.
Wouldn't even be a fight.
I don't think that's going to happen on a Disney Plus show. So maybe it was just kind of my expectation level. Okay, that's the Kingpin we're going to get. And that's the Kingpin we got. And talking strictly his performance, I thought, and again, I think the character could have handled certain things differently, but I thought D'Onofrio was, he's the perfect Kingpin. I couldn't imagine anyone else playing Kingpin, even this kind of lightened version. I don't like the fact, and we'll get into it, I don't like the fact that they rushed through one story at the end with he and Maya, but overall, I thought that version of him was good. So not my favorite finale of any of the series. Loki is still by far my favorite, but I thought it was a solid finale, just quick.
Yeah. I think the conversation that we're going to have the most in depth with is Kingpin when we get to a little bit later. But Michael, man, hey, I know this has been your show, my friend. I'll get to my thoughts in a minute, but it's looking like I see the smile. Did you love it, Michael, or were you slightly disappointed, my friend?
Okay, so I mentioned before, like up to this point, Hawkeye and WandaVision have been competing for my favorite show of the MCU.
Damn.
Hot take.
And
oh boy,
I think overall Hawkeye ended up taking that spot. But I will say, like, I loved every single episode of Hawkeye. Like, there's things I could complain about, but overall, I enjoyed. Like, it wasn't big, grand scale. It was more like, street level, saving the neighborhood, yada yada yada. And I love the relationship between Kate Bishop and Clint. And I love the fact that this series was calling Clint out and basically letting him know he's trash. Like, and all the moments with Natasha reminded me of What If. Like, I'll go get into all that later. Yeah. But this episode, I both enjoyed it and was slightly disappointed. Like, all the stuff with Yelena and Kate, I love. I want them to get a spin-off together. Like
tomorrow, give it to me. Yes.
Every time they're interacting, I absolutely love it. Every time Kate interacts with Clint, I love it. The action in this episode was pretty good. Yeah. And but the thing that I didn't like, and it's more so just in terms of like the MCU constantly giving these shows only 6 episodes. Like this, this episode felt very rushed. Like Austin mentioned 8 episodes. I feel like this season could have got like 10 to 15 because there were so many threads and needles that they're trying to thread with Echo and Yelena, and then you're introducing Kate, and then the mother possibly working with Kingpin, and we find out she did, and then she killed Armand, and then you got the swordsman, and then you still got Clint storyline, and then you're throwing the random shit with the watch, and why the fuck is the watch at the Avengers compound and not at home? Like, it makes no sense. It's stupid. Like, but give it more episodes to flesh that out, and then it's rushed. And this is the episode. Granted, they technically introduced them in the last episode, but this is the episode we are actually seeing Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk Kingpin, and it was like he's instantly taken out or whatever. Granted, I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, for sure.
He's definitely not dead. He's going to show up in the Echo series more than likely. And it's a callback to when Echo first showed up in the comic. She shot him in the face. They just did that all over again. But like, it just felt way too quick to introduce this big character just to take him off the board so easily. And And my biggest complaint about Kingpin wasn't necessarily his portrayals. It was the Hawaiian shirt. Like, I don't see Kingpin wearing. Like,
the swag is,
he
is
didn't
way
even-
off.
yeah.
So you
Way
didn't like that hat?
The hat threw me off. I was like, why is he wearing this? Like, it doesn't go.
That's the only thing that threw me off. But the cartoonishness of it, I was like, oh, this is comic book Kingpin. Like, I can't imagine the Daredevil version of Kingpin going up against like Spider-Man, and Kingpin in the comics goes up against Spider-Man. He bear hugs him, crushes, and Spider-Man has super strength. Like, I don't see that version of Kingpin doing that. Like
To the MCU,
in the MCU.
Sure.
So of course they had to beef him up a little bit. As far as the getting the arrow in the I think he maybe had on like Kevlar or something.
Which I thought that they would reveal, but they didn't even do that. And then if he gets shot in the face in the comics, then it's like, and then he's gonna come back. What's the point of even showing that? Just making sure that you can show them like run away or whatever. Because like then I have the suspension of belief that this girl is an assassin murderer. She can't even just kill this guy point blank. So it's just all crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's like in the show last week, what's his name? Clint is saying that's the guy I've been worried about. That's the big guy. That's Kingpin. So it's like, yeah, to your point, he could be cartoony in the comics, but Disney Plus is still trying to make it seem like we should be scared of this guy. And then Kate Bishop, who just became a superhero like Wednesday,
one
is hanging with this guy.
I will say though, I will say, I don't buy. I had a lot of comments like, "Yo, Kate Bishop is keeping him." I don't think she was.
Yeah, no, she was getting her ass beat.
She got thrown into walls and into tables, and he shot him with an arrow. He's just like, okay, cool. So to me, it's like he didn't want to kill her. Like that wasn't his goal at that moment. He's a guy. He's a bigger picture guy. Like I'm on a mission. You're in my way, so I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to throw you around. And he tossed her around like a rag doll, and then she exploded him. And he still got up. So I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't really.
I 100% agree with that. My point was more of like that she's even having the opportunity to be face to face with it. Like we've been going, like that's Clint's matchup. It's of course Clint has a bigger beef with Yelena, but it's like for Kate to be new to the game, and I 100% agree. Yeah, she wasn't hanging with him to be fair. Yeah. But how does Kate get the big Clint, the Avenger who fights aliens? This is the guy I've been worried about. Fast forward, you're going to be the one that's fighting him in a week. Like, to me, that was just like,
I think that, and again, I know we have the Echo series, and I assume that's going to be a fight, but I would have much more preferred Maya and Kingpin in this finale, just for my personal preference, because I still, I totally agree with you, Austin. She wasn't like going toe to toe with him, but just the fact that it was just a mere. The amount of time she was able to handle Kingpin to me just blew my mind. But we're going to get into all that. We got a bunch of other stuff prior to that happening. Again, for everyone that's watching live, if you can give the video a thumbs up, share it, and of course, subscribe to these content creators because they're amazing people. Open up the episode, Amanda, with you first. We open up with meeting Mr. Fisk. And I'm not going to lie, I got a big smile on my face when I saw him. And again, just officially seeing him on screen. Having this conversation with Eleanor, which as soon as she said she was out, I'm like, that's so silly. He don't just walk away from Kingpin and she thinks she's just going to be able to, just go in and, say, yeah, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks and it was good working with you. Deuces. Kingpin ain't having that. As we cut to, obviously, Kate learning and seeing this from Yelena and the footage and everything playing out, which, by the way, I know Chris mentioned. Yeah, I need to ask you first, Amanda. Was the eye twitch? Was that an acting thing that he was doing, or was it just the camera was too close? Was it?
I was going to ask y'all if he did that in Daredevil.
No,
is he acting that?
I think it's a choice. Yeah, I think it was a choice. It was a subtle choice. Did it work? No, probably not. But I'm just saying it was a subtle choice for sure. But I said this last week. The way that they ended that episode, I feel like we were a bit robbed with this interaction. I think that. This interaction between Eleanor and Kingpin should have been tacked on at the end of last week, and it would have made a bit more of an impact because that picture wasn't enough to drive us home into this finale. I think we needed a bit more because in this finale, you could have had him going after her right off the bat after this conversation. Like it could have worked a bit better. And then we could have had a bit more time with certain scenes in this finale, like Maya and Kingpin, and have a little bit more of them instead of let's rush everything. So the intro was fine. Again, this Kingpin, he's great. Vincent is fantastic and I love him. But the main issue that everyone has brought up on this panel today is the fact that it's not the Daredevil Kingpin that we know. And for those who have watched it, it's like, well, this is a downgrade. Nothing against D'Onofrio because he's brilliant. It's perfect casting, but they Disney-fied this murderer. So it's like this big boss and it's like, oh, okay. Like I still find him menacing, don't get me wrong, but it's like, let's just sprinkle like the fairy dust and like downplay it. And I don't know, it
Put
feels
a Hawaiian
like
shirt on him, lighten him up a little bit. He's a cool uncle. I totally agree with you, Amanda, and that's my biggest thing. We're gonna, again, this Kingpin should have been the name of the episode, I guess, because we are definitely down to Kingpin. I feel like that was my issue when we heard that Charlie Cox was coming back and Vincent D'Onofrio. My fear was, and this I guess is how when deep comic book fans say that's not the comic book lore, that's not the character in the comic books. I feel that way about the Netflix version. Like I feel like in my mind, and it's so hard to do it to separate the two.
Yeah.
And that's the problem when bringing in an actor from another thing that was so great in my opinion and bringing him into this. He has to play it differently. It's another director. It's a different story.
Yeah.
Again, a lot more conversation about Kingpin, but and to be fair, this is one episode of Kingpin, expecting to see him in future projects, and who knows, they might do something different with him. But this first outing, not impressed. Chris, your thoughts on the intro? Eleanor coming in there, making demands, quitting on Kingpin. We all knew that was gonna, eventually catch up to her as Kate finds out about all this stuff. But what did you think about opening up the episode with Kingpin, seeing him on screen, especially now you're watching the show and seeing this version of the character opening up the episode?
Yeah, I totally agree that they should have included this last week. This would have been a good post-credits scene from last week, especially because I said the same thing last week. Like, she's showing Clint this phone as if it's an image, but it's actually a video. So why not just play the video in the scene last week so that, to Amanda's point, you could just start the episode and get some time back. But I guess they needed the time for the freaking Rogers musical. We'll talk about that. But so it's like the scene is fine, yes, but it would have been finer last Wednesday. That's where I'm at with it.
No, I agree.
I like when he said she thinks that she can just quit, like this is Goldman Sachs or whatever. That's a good line.
Yeah.
But that's it. Go on.
Michael, Kingpin in the MCU, officially in the MCU, interacting with Eleanor. How did you feel about the scene again? Just separating the Netflix version to this version, just seeing him immediately on screen. Were you like, okay, this is fun, or were you having a little bit of reservations after this first scene here?
I mean, as far as the eye twitch, I think it was an acting choice because if I remember correctly, he did do it in season 3.
Kind of
starting to become a little bit more unhinged.
Because he doesn't want to explode. He's kind of keeping the anger inside.
Anytime he's trying to keep the anger inside, you see his eye twitching, and you're like, oh shit, he's about to snap.
He's angry.
But part of me, I'm like listening to y'all, and I'm like, I understand, I get it, I do want the same Kingpin from Netflix, but at the same, I'm like, what were y'all thinking you were gonna get on Disney Plus? Like,
also true. It's true.
Like, he's not going to be cursing people out, slamming people's head inside a car. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, and I mean, like I said, I get it. That's what I want. I always like blood, sex, gore, and magic. That's my mantra. Give me the gore, give me the blood. But again, this is Disney. This is Disney Plus. So the whole conversation and the way he's been portrayed, like, yes, if I could take column A, I would take column A, but that's not what we're getting. And if any way I could get Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, I'm going to take, like, I don't think this version was terrible.
Right. So, I agree.
So, I mean, I like the whole conversation. And then even when he was like, this city needs to know who I am, who I am, who's running things. Like, all right. But I do, like I said, I wish
20 minutes later, his guy's getting blown off.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I wish we had more time with Kingpin to like establish it, especially we're bringing him into the MCU universe, because I'm assuming by this point all the Netflix stuff is retcon. So like we're bringing him into the MCU universe, and he is somebody said in the chat like the Thanos level threat for street level heroes.
Right.
Which, it's true. Like we should have spent more time to see how menacing he is.
I agree.
And we didn't really get that. Like, he was, like I said before, he was taken out in his first introduction. That's the only thing I'm like, no, they shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, that's a phase 1 Marvel move there. Again, we're expecting he's going to come back, but that is a very phase 1 type of move. But Austin, my friend, we open up the show with Eleanor and Mr. Fisk. We meet him. You see him on screen. We see him, all done up. And your thoughts on this opening, man, and how you felt about the portrayal of the intro, at least, to Mr. Kingpin.
I think that's Marvel's biggest problem with what they've done here, right? They've kind of unleashed the floodgates, bringing in this character, this actor who has portrayed this character in what feels to be a different variation of this universe, but they're relying on that prior knowledge to basically say, okay, here's what you've seen before. And that's it's almost like it serves as his backstory to this character, even though it's in a different universe, right? So it's that expectation of, oh, he is what we've seen him do before. But then what we get is not that character. So what they should have done, and this is where I agree with all of you, what they should have done is built him up in a different way to be a different person, or just been really transparent about it. Just, this is not that Kingpin. It's a new Kingpin. Part of me, even though he is perfect and I don't want anyone else playing the character, part of me believes people would have been a bit more easy on him if it was a different actor. Because if it was a different actor, then no one would have made that. Yeah, no one would have made that Netflix comparison, and everybody would have been like, "Okay, so you're comic book Kingpin, cool." But since it's Vincent D'Onofrio, we don't see comic book Kingpin. We see Daredevil Kingpin, and I think that's on Marvel to give us this backstory, not have us rely on that backstory. So I think that's kind of, and then, obviously we'll get into it later, rushing that storyline. So I think overall, the theme of this episode is going to be the word rushed, and Kingpin, his buildup was another element that was rushed, in my opinion. But again, I like his comic-y portrayal. You've got to know who he is before you get that moment between he and Eleanor.
I agree, man. I almost, and again, I know Michael brought it up, the Disney Plus thing. I would have just loved if we would have just saw him not kill anyone, but maybe just throwing hands, beating up somebody that messed up, one of the tracksuit people for messing up something, just to show you the menacing nature. Because just the fact that Eleanor was able to just talk to Kingpin the way she did and just walk away with, again, there was consequences in. I just feel like this is the intro. This is the Jonathan Majors as the one who remains to bring in this type of villain to the MCU for Phase 4. I just thought it should have been a grander intro, in my personal opinion. I just thought it was a little bit.
I agree, and I think you can do that without the gore and the like. I think you can do that with on Disney Plus. So you can still make it menacing and feel darker. Like Loki does not feel like a Disney Plus show all the way through and through. So I think it could have been done.
I mean, we talked about WandaVision earlier. I mean, that wasn't a happy. I mean, it had some happy. That was a pretty depressing show.
It was dark.
Let's not forget, even though Falcon is probably my least favorite, but let's not forget that bloody shield and that
John Walker,
like
nightmares.
They're taking people there.
Disney.
I also think it's a trend when it comes to Marvel, especially with these Disney Plus shows. Like constantly, when it comes to the finale, they end up screwing the pooch. Like every single finale for the Disney Plus shows, I've been disappointed. There's not a single finale. Maybe
Loki was good.
I would say Loki hit.
But the only reason I like Loki is because of Kang the Conqueror, but not for what they did with Loki and Sylvie. For
Agreed.
The storyline between Loki and Sylvie, I was supremely disappointed for that. Because of what they ended up setting up is why I like Loki, but not from a character perspective. So it's like all of these Disney Plus shows, even WandaVision should have gotten more episodes. Falcon and Winter, they all should have gotten more episodes, and hopefully in this next phase of Disney Plus shows, they stop doing 6 episodes. But I mean, hearing Secret Invasion is getting 6 episodes. Like, as huge as Secret Invasion is in like the comic books and the scope and the storyline, it should not get 6 episodes. There's absolutely
an hour
no way
per episode if they're gonna.
Yeah, but they're not, more than likely.
Here's a problem too. I think they pigeonholed themselves with this show because Hawkeye had a very specific tone and they stuck to it. Now I'll give them credit for that, right? It was this kind of cheesy Christmas tone. Yeah. So why are you going to throw Kingpin in there? Because you have to stick to that tone. And they did. Yeah. Right? Yeah. They stuck to it. So I got to give them credit for that. Yeah. But why Kingpin? I understand you want to introduce him, but for Kingpin to be involved with your show, it shouldn't be a cheesy Christmas show. It should be something else. So I think that was the big issue is Kingpin is one sort of tone that you expect. The show is another tone. And I think that's where that conflict happened at the beginning of this episode.
I totally agree with you. And when you said that too, I'll say this. Now I'm thinking about this episode and this show as a whole. I'm not a fan of this film, by the way. This was like an Iron Man 3 of shows for me, because it had not only just from the Christmas vibes, but the Mandarin fake out thing, and it's very, very Iron Man 3 to me. So we'll get to my final thoughts of the season, but it reminded me a lot of that. But again, cutting to, I guess, a big pivotal moment between these two characters. We talked about the chemistry between Clint and Kate, but he admits, you are my partner and your mess is my mess. We've been waiting to hear that all season, and we finally get it. As we cut to, again, not to continue to bash Kingpin, but we cut to Hawaiian shirt wearing Kingpin. And this is a moment here in regards to Maya. She knows what's going on. Kingpin knows what's going on. Her friend Kazi, I believe his name, knows what's going on. And this is the moment where, she is pretty much saying, I know what happened. I know what you did. And, obviously that story is going to play out in her show. But Amanda, this moment here, as we talked about, this is when I felt this was kind of Kingpin, as someone alluded to earlier in the stream, when he's like, I need to remind them who I am. I rule the city and all that stuff. Your thoughts on that? To me was like, okay, yes. That's Kingpin. I remember from, again, I don't want to compare it to Netflix, but okay, that's Vincent D'Onofrio. I remember.
Yeah.
But seeing that moment in Maya, who I think, am I wrong in saying she got kind of lost in the shuffle? Her story and her narrative.
100%.
My excitement level for Echo I'm looking forward to it, but my excitement level has kind of went down as the weeks went on.
See, my worry for Echo, considering how they completely underused her and didn't really explore her character whatsoever. Like, I understand that she learned how to fight and, she has a skill set, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know her full range. Like, nothing was even like explored. It was just like scratching the surface of this of this character, and it didn't like get me interested in what she is capable of in her own show.
Yeah.
And then what worries me about this for her is the fact that, like, if they can't write her like introduction properly in Hawkeye, how are they going to do an entire show with just her? Like, that's what I'm worried about. And then if it's just like her name as Echo, as a front, as I've said with every other episode, and Kingpin's the big baddie, then that's an issue, because you're really like wasting this character. For what reason? If you're going to bring in Kingpin, Daredevil, like, you're going to bring in all of them as cameos to just make the show function.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong. They should have just called it like Kingpin. Let's explore Kingpin and his connection with Maya. Then, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, they're so worried about, oh, we have to keep this cameo a secret. We have to keep this cameo a secret. It's like, well, does it work for the characters that you're presenting? So for me, that scene, that was just like me going off on a tangent before I forgot to like say that.
No,
but,
it ties into, that's the moment, because that's where she finds out. This is a moment that we suppose as an audience being like, Maya, we want you, but I didn't really feel that.
I didn't. But yeah, you get that little sliver of Kingpin, sure. But like the writing was just, it wasn't consistent. And even for her, I feel really bad, because she, back in episode 3, she had a great little opening.
Backstory,
right? We had a great little backstory, which should have just been at the beginning of her own show and then explore that with Kingpin. But it's like, they're shoehorning these moments, and it's like everything's all over the place for it to actually work for this character and make me connect with her on an emotional level.
Yeah, and just a side note, when we do get her show, I do hope that little girl comes back, which I believe is like her actual cousin in real life. She was adorable, and I would love that actor who I love as her father to come. I hope we get more of those flashbacks. I thought that worked really well. But Chris, man, again, how did you feel about Maya finding out, coming to her uncle? She's pretending to the Angers, chasing ghosts, the Avengers, and all that stuff. How did you feel about that scene? And again, seeing Vincent D'Onofrio saying, an Avenger, hearing him say Avenger, kind of, I was like, oh, hearing Kingpin say Avenger was pretty cool. It's like the Avengers are now my operation. Ronin's out there in the city; it belongs to him. How did you feel about that sequence, man?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I thought it was a good scene, and I think I heard it wrong, because in the scene, I didn't know that it was clear that she had figured this whole thing out. So I was impressed. I thought she was just trying to step out of it just because she said that, I know I got sidetracked. I thought she was trying to like trick them. And then I liked when Kingpin later said, Maya has double crossed us, or she's turned her back on us. Yeah. So then I was like, oh, damn, like Kingpin really is a boss, because like he didn't even fall for her stupid trick. So if you guys are saying that it was clear in that moment that she figured it out, then that's different. But I didn't catch that. But from the beginning, I couldn't understand how she was getting her own show. To a lot of Amanda's points, like I thought maybe they'll give her more as this season went on, but I was like, I would never, like, I had no interest in her show like whatsoever. And after 6 episodes, I have the same level of zero interest in her show. And then if it's to Amanda's point where it's a whole bunch of other people, then it's like, why is it even called her show? Like, I don't want the Chris Tait show to be all about Michael because nobody wants to hear about me and everybody just want to talk about Michael. Like, just call it the Michael show. So
I'm down for that.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah. So I really just, to answer your question, I thought the scene was cool.
Yeah.
But her as a character really lost me. Like, I have no interest. It's just something I can't even really put my finger on about why I don't like her or why I just don't care. But I don't think they handled it right. And it's something that's like such a cool story. Like, this woman, is like mute, like deaf. She has this prosthetic leg. She has this complicated thing with her father. Like, it should be cool. Yeah, I just don't care about it.
And I almost feel like, and I'm glad Kingpin's in the show and is involved and him get the debut, but I almost feel like we didn't even, to go back to Maya, they should just kept it to Maya and not even introduce Kingpin if they just, the way that they end up using her storyline. But Michael, man, again, we're not trying to poo-poo on the parade, my friend. We do have some positives to say here in a bit, but just kind of your thoughts on this sequence with and again, to Chris, in regards to the scene, I actually thought that she figured it out last week when she was talking to her.
No. I know she figured it out.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I didn't think that Kingpin, she was admitting it to Kingpin, like, hey, I know what you guys have done. I thought she was
sure.
Yeah. Keep it going as if like, oh yeah, like, I'm sorry I got distracted. Like, I'm here now, I'm focused now. Like, I thought that's what was happening. Yeah.
Michael, how did you feel about that scene, man? And just your take so far. We're talking a little bit about Maya. What's your excitement level, and how do you feel the character was handled? And again, we'll talk about her later, obviously, with the fight, but just your thoughts on that.
But no, what I was saying, like, even though I've enjoyed the show so far, like I said, I mentioned that this finale disappointed me, and part of that big disappointment is how they ended up handling Echo. And it's nothing against Alaqua Cox, like, for a show called Hawkeye and about archers, like, they really missed the target when it came to
this
her.
guy.
1 for 1.
When it came to her character, like, I feel like they put all this effort into her and giving her this backstory in episode 3, and then, like, after Yelena came into the picture, it's like her character became completely forgotten. And it's like, but guys, you do know out of all the characters, she's the only one that's been announced to have a spinoff, and yet you've done absolutely nothing with her character. And almost in a way, I kind of feel like they're going to Supergirl her for her solo show, in the sense of, what I mean by that is Echo really doesn't have that much in terms of story in the comics. So, like, I feel like they're gonna pull from a lot of Daredevil stuff and give it to her. And then just have Daredevil show up as a cameo, because we already got Kingpin showing up as her main villain. So I think they're gonna end up doing a lot of that. And, like, it doesn't really get me excited. Like, for her character superhero name to be Echo, we also didn't even really see her echo anything. We saw it at one moment when she was doing in that karate class as a kid.
With the guy.
When she saw the little boy do a move and she did the exact same move, but not at one moment when she's fighting like Clint or Yelena or like that. She saw them do a move, then she picked up and did the move again.
100%.
Like, so it's like, she was a capable fighter. But, like, when she was introduced in, like, and I know this isn't the comic, the MCU does their own thing, but, like, you're giving her own series. At least show her, like, when she was first introduced, like, she was a whole ass problem. For Daredevil. She's watching, Daredevil fight. She's watching Bullseye, and she's mastered all of their techniques, and she almost killed him. And so, we're seeing this version of Echo, and I'm like, I don't feel that level of threat. Like, even Yelena whooped her ass. So I'm like, I don't feel. I don't feel the menace. And then also, oh shit, I lost my train of thought.
Come on, get it back.
Echo. Come on, Echo. Echo it.
Damn, fuck. Go to Austin.
We'll come back to it.
No.
We'll Austin. We'll do the behind the back to Austin right quick. Austin, man, your thoughts on the conversation at hand in regards to just, Agatha Harkness, man. She was the almost standout character in WandaVision. And we later got the announcement of the show. It's so weird that why did they announce Echo so early prior to the show even coming out? It's so baffling to me. And I think, like Amanda said, I think they're going to end up remixing it. It's going to end up being Daredevil season 4, Kingpin, and Echo happens to be in the show. But your thoughts on her show and how you feel about the character. And again, we'll talk about her more in depth later, but just your thoughts on the scene and again, where you are with this character, Echo.
So I think their mindset was okay, we're going to do what we did to Wanda. We're not going to turn her into Echo. until the Echo show. We're not going to
Yeah.
turn her into Scarlet Witch until WandaVision. I think that was kind of their mindset. But by doing that and not really exploring that side of it, it felt very much so like she was the most underdeveloped character in the show. And I think the biggest problem with that is at the end of episode 1 or 2, they set her up as the big villain. She's in the room. She walks
the red
out.
light, the
like,
music.
oh, and I felt that presence. I'm like, oh man, she could be the kingpin. We didn't know at the time of this series. But she wasn't that, because after that episode, Yelena gets involved. I love Yelena. We're talking about Kingpin. I love all of those things that they tried to do, but in the midst of that, they forgot about this character that they set up as the big villain. So to do that, set her up, and then not take it anywhere makes for a character that we don't care as much about. And like you guys said, they've already announced her spinoff show. And by doing that, we're looking in these 6 episodes for things to take with us. Like, okay, what are we taking into the show? And I personally didn't get all that much. Now, I think there's a little bit of potential there, but because they mishandled her so much in this show, I just don't have a lot of anticipation. And I don't think it's a major detriment on the show itself, because she's relegated to a background character. But when you look at it as, oh, she should have been bigger because she's getting her own show, it really, really hurts the character of Echo.
Yeah, it's essentially, you have your thing of the Mandalorian. Obviously, Boba Fett was a character prior to Mandalorian, and obviously a character I think is kind of overrated, for being honest. But having him in that show, set him up. Oh, he's badass. I can't wait to see where the show goes. They didn't do that at all with Echo. And again, I feel so bad for the actress, and I really do sincerely think they're going to end up remixing that show, and they're going to change the title and the marketing and all that stuff. But we'll see. Michael, did the thought come back, my friend?
It came
back.
Yeah,
there it is.
So also the thing about the whole Maya situation, and then just diving more into the fact that they rushed this entire season. Like, I feel like her entire storyline was kind of dropped and rushed, like in the sense of they didn't really make it clear that she figured out that Kingpin was the one that killed her father. Like, she did this switch, and you saw it in the last episode when she questioned Kazi, like, oh, where were you when such and such happened? Why weren't you there? But we never saw a moment where she actually figured it out, because as far as she knows, because she was there when her father got killed, as far as she knows, Ronan is the one that killed her father.
Right.
So explain that. Like, was it actually Hawkeye that killed her? Was it somebody dressed up as Ronan? Like, even that plot line was never concluded. So I'm like, I have questions with the whole thing, and then it doesn't make sense. And if you're gonna make this character up the protagonist of her own show, like, make her more of a character that you want to learn more about. And right now, I don't really want to learn more about. Like, I don't really care. Like, good for Alakwa Cox, and I thought she did what she was supposed to do, but like,
I think the writers kind of gave her the short end of the stick for sure.
Like, we're talking about Kate, we're talking about Yelena, but we're not talking
about Echo.
Yeah, we're not talking about Echo.
If if Marvel has proven us anything, they do sometimes see the criticisms, and they try to fix characters later down the road, as Austin brought up earlier. Wanda, and kind of feeling, lost in the shuffle, but then she gets her own show, and they kind of revamp the character, and now we're excited for her in the future and all that stuff. So who knows? They might definitely, and that's the thing too, they might have been purposely holding back because they want to have her own show and her own storyline, but we'll see what comes of that. And again, we'll talk about her a little bit later, but I think, and to talk about the show more positively, I think this is one of the best moments, in a moment we've been kind of, again, the partnership. Starting with you, Michael, we cut to Kate and Clint making the trick arrows. We see them, the Pym particle stuff. We see Tony Stark stuff in the mix. And even before that, they're on the train having the conversation, which goes back to, I want to say, episode, 4, when Clint was on the train. He was worried about his family, and now reverse that to now, Kate found out about her mom, and just, I guess the train is their therapy session, and they can sit on the couch and share each other's feelings. But this is what the show was built on, Michael, and we see the trick shots, arrows being made, and we have the superhero conversation about why Kate is such a fan of Clint, and her witnessing Clint in 2012. No arrow, no tricks, no flying, just a man with an arrow saving the day, her mentor. Your thoughts on that sequence, Mike?
I love every time
So great, man.
Kate Bishop and Hawkeye Clint Barton are together. Like Jeremy
Yep.
Renner and Haley Steinfeld have phenomenal chemistry, and that's the thing I love the most about this show is the chemistry between the two of them. And the thing that I'm really impressed with is the fact that they're doing it and it's not romantic. Because more times than not, that's always the thing that you do in movies. Like the older man is always like there's some, even if they don't, there's no level of romance, there's still always a tease.
A sense of it.
Yeah. Or like, she's kind of hot, or, don't look it, but they didn't do any of that. And it really just feels like almost kind of like a father-daughter relationship. And I love that between the two of them, and just how much Kate looks up to this man, and it kind of reminds me of a Natasha Clint relationship 2.0. That's why he didn't want to accept her as a partner. There's even a line where he says, "Give him hell." Last time he said that was in Age of Ultron with Natasha. So it's like there's a lot of callbacks to their relationship, and honestly, I would love for the Clint and Natasha to be Yelena and Kate in this next phase going forward, and see the relationship that we never got between Clint and Nat in the MCU, because like all of this stuff that we've gotten in this series, and even in What If, it makes me upset and sad of the relationship that we never got between Clint and Nat. We were constantly told they're best friends. We're told all this stuff about, Nat trusted
Budapest.
Budapest. Nat trusted him enough to tell her about the secret family that we just found out about this year. And yet, like, we've gotten none of that throughout we just constantly been told it. And so I'm just like, that it upsets me. So I'm hoping that they rectify it with this new relationship between Clint and Yelena. I mean, Kate and Yelena. But as far as Clinton, I love them. Hopefully we get a season 2 and we see more of them, and then we get Young Avengers. Yes, and she becomes the leader of the Young Avengers.
Yep.
Well said, man. I couldn't agree with you more. I think this, and again, I mentioned how Marvel likes to right its wrong. I think, and you all know how I feel about the Hulk. I think She-Hulk is going to be 20 times better than what we got.
I don't acknowledge that character anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me not call him Hulk. Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner. I think Jennifer Walters will be a 10 times better Hulk than what we got with Mark Ruffalo.
And I also loved Kate labeling the arrows. That
was so
it was so cute with the label maker.
That's a comic book thing.
I love it. But Austin, man, your take on this this Trick Arrow scene, the moment that she really breaks down and tell him what he meant to her, and him hearing that too. It's good for Clint to hear that because and he's been always the last Avenger that we always talk about. He was forgotten about in Infinity War, but I think it was I can't remember if it was on Twitter or comicbook.com. They show you that every time Clint's involved, he's the winner. He's the winner. He's always on the winning side in the MCU. So he's the secret sauce, and I think he has a great partner in Kate. But your thoughts on this chemistry between these two, man?
I love the story arc. It's all about Clint kind of opening up and embracing something as little as putting a costume on and having that, what she was trying to do to market him as Hawkeye, right? And, he takes it off at the end there and she's like, oh, you've got it on. You have it. Like, that's just the joy that comes from that. And I feel that father-daughter relationship. That's what I was hoping I would feel, kind of filling that void of, the tragedy that happened to her. She looks up and sees this hero and she says this to him, jumping off of a building when he has no superpowers. The guy's just relying on an arrow and some rope to swing into. And that's a big deal for her. And that's what kind of set her on her path. So to be reunited with that, and now to see, who he is and the kind of person that he is, and he's just a good guy. Like, I love these superhero shows that can showcase really good people, good men and women that just want to do what's right, but he doesn't really want the clout. He doesn't want the credit for it. And that is put on display all throughout this series. And what this episode did, I think the best thing that it did was it almost completed those two arcs to where they are now working with a really good relationship, to the point to where I believe they could go out and fight crime together, or he could stand on the sidelines and watch her go and hopefully have a TV show with Yelena. So the possibilities are endless from what this relationship built, and her character arc as well was genuinely great. Like, they are, clearly they're on the poster. They're the standouts of the show, but I thought they were the most well-written part of this entire series. They're really good.
And to Austin's point, to Michael's point, and again, we talked about Maya, Kingpin, supporting characters like Austin and Michael have been saying. That at the end of the day, we came to see Hawkeye, and I think that they delivered in delivering us these two compelling characters, not losing focus. I think of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Sam 1 week, he gets kind of it's Bucky this week, and then we got all this. It kind of lost the shuffle of who the characters in the show is supposed to be about. But Hawkeye consistently nailed the chemistry between those two. Chris, do you feel the same about this moment here, man?
Yeah, 1,000%. I don't have probably much anything to add besides what Michael and Austin both said. I think that's the best part of the show. That's what we wanted. Yeah. This is the kind of, just Marvel probably knows they could have probably treated Natasha a little better. So this is them probably trying to right their wrongs. Yes. So I'm all for a little apology tour. Yeah. So I thought it was really cool to see them on the train. That's part where my favorite part of the show is just like all the New York elements, and that's one thing that's really cool about this episode. A lot of New York elements, Rockefeller, the trains, the tree, all that kind of FAO Schwartz, like all that stuff is. Yeah. And I used to work right there, so it's all real like timely. So I thought they did that well.
Listen, Chris, I'm gonna say it right now. Hawkeye and What If gave more respect to Natasha than Black Widow did. I'm just gonna say that right now. Tossing it to you, Amanda. Your thoughts on the chemistry of these two characters.
I agree with you 100%.
Listen, I watch Black. And no offense, I enjoy Black Widow, but that film, really the more I watch it, the less I like it. I'll be honest with you.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Anyway, Amanda, I'm a fan of these two, Clint and Kate. Your thoughts on the scene here?
I love them. I agree with everything that is being said. They're the glue of the show. If it weren't for them, a lot of things would have fell flat for me. I feel like too much was happening throughout the series, but then when they were together, it just made everything better and put everything back into perspective. Is like, this is their show. So when they were either separated or like dealing with other people, it's like, I need them back again. Like, where's the magic? Like, they literally brought the magic for this. And they grew as individuals. They became, I think Clint more than Kate obviously became a well-rounded character, which we can relate to and understand and even help like process our, like, I know how we were all attached to Natasha in that way and like they did her dirty, but in this case it's like we could feel that way with Clint as well and like watch him process that, and which is really important for him and the MCU as a whole. So I think they did a great job, the two of them. And they grew as partners as well. So I really love that they're able to openly have these conversations about like, you helped me with this and then you helped me with this. And like, I think that's really important moving forward as Hawkeyes. So
I agree. All well said. Well said. And time to party, ladies and gentlemen. We head to the Eleanor party. Kate and Clint all dressed up, ready to have some fun. But by the way, I don't know if it was just me hearing Clint say when they see Jack is at the party and he has his sword, he's out of jail, and then he's like, "Oh, that's a weird flex." Hearing Clint say "flex" to me in the context of how he used it, I'm like, "That's hilarious." That's hilarious.
It was well said.
It was well said. It came off. It was very swag too. I'm like, "All right, Jeremy."
And he didn't even say "but okay." He said but all right or whatever. I was like, "Damn, he made it."
I see you, Jeremy.
I was waiting for Kate to be like, "Okay, Boomer."
That was impressive.
I was very impressed, to say the least. Which we'll talk about Jack, who ended up, I think we all knew he was going to be a red herring, and we'll see what the character comes of that. But in comes all the other surprise guests. We see Elena making her way into it. Eleanor makes her way to the party, and this is where Kate pulls her aside, looking for answers. And this is where the action comes in. By the way, Clint with the using almost like a Captain America moment with the bartenders or the drink and dodging a bullet was really cool, and all that stuff. But I just want to get to this part here. You guys have mentioned it several times, and I want to start with you, Amanda. When are they going to announce the Yelena and the Kate spinoff show? Because the chemistry is just so automatic. Them on the elevator, which reminded me of Elf, by the way, when I just watched Elf the other night. That reminds me so much of Elf, for her doing that with the elevator buttons. But tell me, am I wrong in saying that they deserve a show like yesterday, Amanda?
They deserve a show, but they also need to be girlfriends in the show, or like the future of the MCU. I'm gonna be that person because their chemistry is ridiculous, and I love them so much. They looked bomb in this episode, but it's more of like the back and forth, like to have that chemistry. like instantly. Like that's the magic that I love when you put these characters together. So
Yeah.
having Yelena and Kate, I'm like, yeah, they're a great tag team, but like let's
Yep.
push that boundary a bit, fam, because it's possible. So make them girlfriends, please. Like Jesus. I love Florence Pugh more than anything. Like I fell in love with her in Little Women, and I'm like sold. I'll literally whatever you're in, I'm watching, and she popped into Marvel. So I think they're brilliant. The banter was great. The action, the entire action set piece of this was like really wicked. And that tracking shot, just like of them going across the rooms, just brilliant.
So cool. Yeah.
I loved it. So they're cute and I love them and I need more. And Yelena stole this entire series, to be honest.
She's great.
We
see Kate tries to slap. What is that when she slaps her and then
So
the back
cute.
and forth? Chris, man, I know Yelena again is your MVP. She is your favorite Avenger, and Florence Pugh is great at her. But what did you think about again setting up the party scene? We see the flexing of Jack there, but more importantly, we see the elevator banter between those two characters.
Yeah, what a nice little turnaround for Jack. Now everybody loves him.
Everyone
loves to see
loves
it.
It's the mustache.
Well,
It's
you
the
love
mustache.
to see a rebrand, don't you?
Yeah.
I love that. Love the scene between them. Of course, nothing to add. You guys nailed it so far. I loved. I'm going to get appetizers. All that stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then this is. We only get a little bit of that type of Yelena in this episode. We didn't get a lot, but the one scene was very powerful. And in the elevator, I knew she was going to press the button. It's like, it was just all good. And then you see all the freaking LARPies in the damn suits helping out, and I'm like, and those, that's one of the.
That was the stupidest part.
Yeah. And then when they get the suits and they're wearing the suits at the end, and they're like,
I love it.
They're the Avengers. They're the
It was
Avengers.
cute.
It would have been even if you needed to use LARP, and you don't need to. Just Marvel, if you're listening, you don't need to. I would have used it so maybe they think that they're helping, but Kate and Clint are doing everything. But the way that the shots are
makes it seem
captured,
like
it seems like they're doing something. It's like something kind of fun like that. But did he bounce someone off of his stomach to knock him out?
He sure did.
Just making sure.
My
television was showing me the correct imagery.
Yep. This was the Disney stuff that we've been talking about. You got to put the kids are watching, Chris. You got to put.
I feel like they even had the sound effect. Boing.
Boing, exactly. And the thought bubble and everything, But I'll say this,
Facts.
Chris. I would take the LARPers. I would take the tracksuit, which I think that's probably why they were in the show, to kind of have that goofiness. But I would take both of them over the Flag Smashers any day of the week.
Yeah.
Austin, my friend, we see Cait and Yelena. We got to think of a name for them too, by the way. What are Yelena, Kate? Kate, I don't know. Michael, what's the tag?
It's Kate. It's Kate Lena.
Kate Lena.
I love it. I'm gonna go on Tumblr.
Hashtag it now. But my main man Austin, what do you think about this chemistry between these two, but also setting the stage for the grand finale of this fight that we're setting up here?
Well, the second I saw her use the hot sauce last week, I said, I have a connection because I'm a massive fan of hot sauce. I carry sriracha. I think I have sriracha sitting over there. It's ridiculous.
Always on deck.
Okay, Beyonce, hot sauce in your bag.
I've got hot sauce everywhere. All right, but it's a great. I mean, this is a testament to, if you had any question about either of their acting abilities before this show, a Marvel show, which is funny. Good acting in Marvel shows, but you throw that out the window because they're both phenomenal. And this is a testament to their talent. Anytime they're on screen together, whether they're fighting each other, slapping each other, or just going back and forth and having a bit of banter, I believe their chemistry is better than the chemistry between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. And that chemistry is phenomenal. So that tells me that this is definitely the move going forward, is to give them a show. And, even the action scenes between them, it felt elevated from some of the other, you mentioned the tracking shot, a little callback to, was it Winter Soldier, Civil War? Actually,
Civil War, I think when they were fighting, between
Winter Soldier and so that's, it took me right to that moment, and it kind of elevated the action and really elevated that entire scene. And I just I just hop on what you guys said. I think the chemistry is the best part of that entire episode between those two. And I could sit and listen to them talk for 2 hours and not get bored.
Yes.
That's how good they are.
Yes.
I totally agree with you. And Michael, you touched on it earlier, man. Again, your thoughts on it as far as just seeing this is the stuff that we never saw with Clint and Nat, right? We hear about it, but when you get to see it on screen, it makes it so much more impactful, man. So your thoughts on getting this amazing chemistry between these two actresses?
I said this on my own YouTube channel when I was talking about episode 5, but the moment between Kate and Yelena at the table with the mac and cheese and that whole conversation, I was like, if that was the entire episode, I would have still been glued to the screen. I would have been here for every single moment of it. And when the scene ended, I was a little upset. I was like,
I know.
When they showed Hawkeye, I was like, no, go back to Kate and Yelena. Like, I want to see more of that. Like, so anytime we get the two of these actors interact, and my first time seeing Florence Pugh was actually fighting with my family.
Oh, she was great in that.
Man. She was great in that. And like, she is now probably my favorite character that has been introduced in Phase 4. I absolutely love her character, and I want there to be a show between Kate and Yelena. And honestly, because America Chavez is so young, the actress is 14, and Haley Steinfeld is like 25. Because in the comics, America Chavez and Kate Bishop are best friends. Give that to Yelena, because they're around the same age. And I'll be here for all of that. And as far as because we're getting into my wheelhouse now, as far as the representation aspect of them being girlfriends, I'm a surprise people. I don't want it. I know.
Man.
People are surprised.
Man.
And y'all know me, Chris and Amanda Austin. This is my first time, but I'm a huge shipper. # give Bucky a boyfriend. Like, it should have happened in Falcon and Winter Soldier. But the reason I don't want it with Kate and Yelena is, again, representation. And because in the comics, Yelena is asexual. So if you make her the girlfriend, if you make her the girlfriend of Kate, she's asexual and aromantic. So you're taking away representation from those people that want to see asexual representation, which they didn't get in Riverdale because they took that away from Jughead.
Right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want them to swap that out just to give it. Yeah. Even though I'm like, part of me is like, oh, I want them to be girlfriends, but don't do that.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yes.
But I think we can all agree. More Kate and Yelena. And one more time, Michael, what #
Kate Lena.
Kate Lena. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that on a t-shirt. But as we cut to, again, Austin touched on, with the office fight, we see Clint taking out the main shooter. Yelena, she gets her chance. I mean, literally, I guess the series could have ended there. If she would have hit Clint, it would have been, of all things, ended. But she misses. And we see, at this point, Kate makes her way to the ground. We get the little funny moment here, which I guess is a great callback to the guy with the girlfriend issues. Thank you for helping me out. Funny little call. This is where Marvel sometimes throw in a little bit too much of the jokes. It's like, hey, you guys are shooting at them. Can we be a little bit more serious? But again, it's Christmas. It's just having fun. But at this point, we see that Clint is helping out. Jack helps out. He comes through and does his sword thing. But this is where things start to get fun. This is where we're on the ice now. Clint's stuck in a tree like a cat. We see Kate help him out. And this is the moment where they're both rocking their suits. Starting with you, Amanda, where we see the fight sequence taking place. And by the way, those trick arrows, this was the trick arrow moments here were just so amazing.
Why didn't we get any of this in any of the events?
Michael, I was literally just about to say that, my friend. Like, where were these at during Ultron, during the first Avenger?
He was fighting aliens. You don't think he could have used metal arrows, especially those Ultron bots?
They saved it, 10 years later is when we got it, and it was great to see it nonetheless. But Amanda, your thoughts on them teaming up? We saw them having the bond on the train, but now them working side by side, the hero shot, the Avenger shot, if we want to call it that. What a moment.
I loved it. This action scene was awesome. The trick arrows were hilarious. My favorite trick arrow was the Hank Pym arrow, obviously. That was just so cool. And I'm like, again, like we just said, why wasn't this used in other movies? But they got to keep it special for their series. I get it. The owl in the tree, adorbs. Literally so cute. I was just like, this is the most random thing, but I'm like, you have to scoop the truck. I get it, connection, whatever. But it was really cute. But But yeah, them talking back and forth, the banter, just everything about it was great. The suits looked really crispy. I loved it.
They did.
It's an upgrade, you know, because Clint didn't really care, and it was all about branding. So thank you, Kate Bishop, for making him look cool.
Yep.
So yeah, it was great. So much fun.
Man, Chris, for about 2.2 seconds, we all know Spider-Man. I won't say when it happens in the movie, but there's a shot of Spider-Man at the same location. I knew he was going to be in the show, but I'm like, if they just show him just maybe sweeping through, that would have been crazy. But again, it's not the Spider-Man show. But Chris, your thought on this sequence here, the two teaming up?
I thought it was a little bit cheesy at times. The stuck in the tree thing was crazy. Shooting it down, all this, like all it was very. To me, it was very Home Alone-y. This is like,
it was a tribute to Home Alone too.
It wasn't. I wasn't like rolling my eyes like this is the worst thing I ever seen on television. It just wasn't. I was just like, okay, this is fine. Like it's cool. It's always cool to see the different arrows that he has, which like goes back to the other episode, forget whatever number that was, when you're seeing the different things that they have. So it's cool for those reasons.
No doubt, I agree with you. And again, I need more of these trick arrows, Austin. Man, your thought?
And I love when he said, you know, I got to ask Scott like what we do next. And like
that was a great call out. I did catch that. Good call.
Nice moment there.
Good call, man. Austin, man, we see him in the suits. We see him working together, teaming up, having that Avengers shot. Man, your thoughts on this action set piece, man?
I had a good time with it. I really did. I mean, it stayed so consistent with the tone of the rest of the show because, you know, it's a little light, but there's always a really cool arrow here or a great action moment there. And when they're side by side, you finally see that chemistry play out on the battlefield, which we've seen countless times, the back and forth, the banter, the dialogue, which is great. But I wanted to see it on the battlefield. I wanted to see if they could truly work together on the level that I had hoped they would. So I was able to see that here. And a couple of some things took it a bit too silly, but for the most part, it worked extremely well with promising us a great scene with arrows. You know, Hawkeye shooting his arrows, arrows. That's what I wanted from the show, man. You get to see Hawkeye and Kate Bishop do what they're best at. And that was great. And then of course the trick arrows and shrinking that was just super fun. So I had this was kind of the culmination for me to where I said, I'm enjoying this finale, even though there are certain things they could have done better.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree. Michael, man, you got anything else to add in this fight sequence, man? Was there any Easter eggs or any cool moments that you saw in this moment here, man?
No Easter eggs, but Chris, he doesn't know how to have fun. I like this scene. Like this scene was fun.
Oh damn!
But yeah, this scene was fun. This is like the culmination of everything that we've been building towards with the relationship between Clint and Kate. The fact that Clint officially now this is the moment that he trusts her to the point that he pulled out the shirt and everything. Like And you know them doing the trick arrows, like better trick arrows than we've seen in like 8 seasons of Arrow. Funny enough,
Arrow, man, that used to don't even get that stuff. Michael do Arrow first 3 seasons, fire. But as I digress.
But then after that. But I like the scene. The putty arrow, the CGI for that is not. I'm not really a fan of that. That's the only thing that I was just like, But I like the Hank Pym moment, and then when the owl came down and grabbed the car, I was like, oh, so they're dead. Like,
it was so cute.
But I liked this whole scene. I want more trick arrows, and I'm like, why didn't we get more of that with you know, in the Avengers movies and everything like that. And the thing I also really like about this series, and they put a little bit of respect on Clint's name in the sense of, for the most part, because we've seen him fighting like Chitauri, we've seen him fighting Ultron robots, and then we saw him point the arrow at Thor, but we never really seen like him be a deadly assassin. Like he never really got his moment in like a lot of the Avengers movies. They gave it to a lot of it went to like Natasha, Captain America, etc.
Or gave it to Ronan when he was, you know, slicing up people there. But
but overall they've never really given Clint like a moment to shine, and that's part of the reason why a lot of us don't like Hawkeye's the MCU version of Hawkeye. Like he should have been a Winter Soldier. He's a SHIELD agent. It's about the collapse of SHIELD.
I think there was a rumor about that too, Michael. Yeah, I think that they had there was a script that had Hawkeye in there, but I think they thought it might have been a little bit too much.
Natasha and Hawkeye should have gotten like a espionage type of Shield movie. But the thing
100%.
about this series is it showed like when Hawkeye's just fighting regular people, we should be scared for those people that he's fighting. Like when he was in that warehouse in episode 3, and it was a whole bunch of guys, and it's just him, and they had guns pointed on him and everything, and it was that it called back to that Avengers moment when Natasha was getting interrogating those Russians. She's like, let me put you on hold, and she took them all out easily with no problem. And even like Agent Coulson was just like, all right, I'll wait on hold, she got this. Like that's how we should feel about Hawkeye.
100%.
And we haven't really felt that until, at least I haven't, until this series. And that's the thing I appreciate. It's like, no, Hawkeye got hands. We should be scared of whoever he's fighting.
Yeah.
So, and this moment also showed that too. It was just the two of them against all these people.
It looks like hundreds of them look like almost at one point. Yeah. Or at least 50 plus.
Those trick arrows.
Yeah, they came through in the clutch. But we get, and this is, and again, to Chris's point, you know, it was a little bit of silly, but this is where it gets a little bit more serious. You know, now we're getting Yelena. She's on the battlefield. She sees blood. She sees Clint. You know, we're getting our 3 fights. We got, you know, Yelena, Clint. We got Maya and her friend Kazi, right? Yeah. Kazi, and this is the moment here that we've been kind of waiting for. Starting with you, Michael, you know, what is Clint going to say to Yelena to have her understand, I did not kill your sister? And I'm so glad the way the show put those lines in there in the dialogue, because of course he was going to say, oh, we went to Vermeer, we had to get the Soul Stone, we had to it's like, how do you explain that? But he just says, listen, she sacrificed herself, she saved the world. I love the way they kind of handle it. Of course, stereotypical tropey, you know, movie, I don't believe you, and they fight and all that stuff, and she has her moment. But your thoughts on not only that, but then seeing, again, I hate to bring up Echo, but I'm just like, I don't even care about her and her friend because we didn't even build that up. I didn't even know. I saw it on the internet that the boy that was in the karate scene, that was him. So this shows you they've been growing up together this whole time, but I never felt that brother. I don't even know what kind of relationship it was, but your thoughts on Yelena and Clint, and also, you know, if you did enjoy Maya versus Kuzi.
Maya versus Kazi.
I keep saying
no, I didn't really care for like all this. Oh, you can get out, you could come with me. They didn't build, like, again, Maya's storyline is the weakest of the entire Hawkeye. Like, why even introduce her in Hawkeye? Like, there's no connection there. Like, I thought that was random. Even Kingpin. It was weird, but if you're going to introduce her, do something with her. But I feel like all of her story and all of her screen time went to Yelena once she came into the picture. And so going into that, like, I wanted like all those beats that we got from Maya and Kazi. I'm like, give me more scenes with Yelena and Clint. And it's predictable. I knew by the end she wasn't going to kill Hawkeye, but I still liked the scene between the two of them. And it also continues to put post Avengers Endgame more respect on Natasha's name in the sense of like, I fought her for it, but she was better. And like, she sacrificed herself. It was her choice. And I wish there was another way around it, but it didn't happen. Like, I love, you know, because I do feel like, you know, it should have been Clint over Natasha, but
the family man, take him out.
But we got what we got. So I'm glad that because of that, they're still referencing Natasha and still paying homages to Natasha and still like saying that, you know, she's a badass and she still deserves respect, and we're still honoring her memory and her legacy as the original Avenger. So I did like that, and I like, you know, like I said, it was predictable that Yelena wasn't going to kill him by the end, but I still like that, you know, she helped him up and everything like that. So maybe we'll see her show up in Hawkeye season 2. Who knows?
You brought up something, Michael. I just want round table style. Just a quick question, starting with you, Michael. If you had to choose, and if you had a choice, if you were Kevin Feige, continue Natasha and have her team up with her sister Yelena moving forward in the MCU, or Clint and Kate, which one would you choose? Because when you brought up, you know, the whole thing, I'm like, man, if it would have been, if Nat would have lived, we would have never got Yelena. Because what's the point of bringing Yelena in if we got a Black Widow?
No, I think you could have still introduced Yelena.
Yeah,
and still have Natasha. Like the first 3 movies could have been like Natasha and Yelena, a build up with like, and honestly, like take Natasha out of the Black Widow movie, and it could have been Yelena's movie. And
I said that in my
nothing changes about that movie.
I totally agree. But if you had to choose, Michael, who would, if you go on Nat, Yelena moving forward, or Kate Bishop and Clint?
So wait, before I make my choice,
yes,
Are these characters still in the MCU though, or are they not in the MCU?
No, this is MCU. This is MCU. This
Okay.
is if Clint died and Yelena stayed and Nat was alive, and we don't see because Kate Bishop doesn't have who's her mentor at that point because Hawkeye's dead.
I would probably say, because I love their chemistry so much, I would stick with Clint and Kate, because I like Yelena.
Yes,
but I feel like her chemistry with Natasha wasn't that, not that it wasn't great. But I like Yelena her as a character herself more than how she interacted with Natasha. So
Austin,
yeah,
if you had to pick and choose, man, had an arrow to your head, got to pick a pair.
I think before it happened, I would have absolutely said Natasha, but now looking back, I'm glad we got what we got, because not only do we get Kate and Hawkeye, but we also have Yelena, and now we have that Yelena-Kate relationship that's kind of spawning from that, and that's something that I can't do without. So I'm glad we got that.
Chris,
I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm going Natasha and Yelena. I mean, as Yelena, she's my girl, but I always like Natasha, and if we get more of that in a new light with a rebrand, I think I would. And there's no wrong answer here, of course, Kate and Clint are fire. But I would personally choose the sisters and see that family bond and just see them kicking ass on another level that we haven't seen in a while. So
Amanda, no pressure.
This is so hard. Why would you ask this?
Exactly.
I've been listening
Michael,
to
man.
everyone, and I'm like,
Michael.
oh my god.
You got me thinking.
Oh my god. You know what? I'm all about family, and I would definitely go with Yelena and Nat. I would. Sisters.
Family.
It's all about the familia family. I would definitely go for them for sure.
No doubt. But Austin, tossing it back to you, man, in regards to seeing this fight that we have, Maya and her friend, and obviously Clint and Yelena, and that moment when he tells her that, it was a pretty emotional moment. Again, I can't stress it enough. I feel like this show and would have gave more respect to Natasha Romanoff than her own movie, man. But your thoughts on the sequence?
Not only was Maya's portion, I just didn't care about it, but it was taking away from, I mean, they would cut away from Hawkeye's battle with Yelena, and I'm like, just go back. I don't want to see this. Go back and give us the good stuff. So it was so unfortunate how that played out, because I could have cared less. I just said, stab him and get it over with, please. And she did. And then we cut back. So it was and that is such that's a horrible thing to say, because I think she has all of the potential in the world, but the writing just took away from that. But in terms of what we got between Clint and Yelena, it's the simplicity of what he told her. He didn't sit there and go on this big monologue, this big spiel. He just said she sacrificed herself. And it's more so, you have to believe me when I tell you this very simple thing. And of course, we get the callback and the reference there, but rather than I have to sit there and explain myself. And the beautiful thing about that is she's smart enough. And it took her a bit because of the anger. You get past the anger. She's smart enough to realize he's telling the truth. And that's what I found so beautiful. And it raised up both of their characters in that moment.
Couldn't agree more. And not to underplay the goodwill that Kate had for Clint, had to put some influence on Yelena. Whether it be, I don't know, I don't think she intentionally missed that shot that she took at him, but I still think the conversations that she was able to talk about what Clint meant, he's a good guy, even though he's been killing people for 5 years as Ronan, but he's a good guy. That her putting that in her, that planting that seed, I think had a little bit of influence on her.
Or even her looking up who hired her in the first place. She didn't care before that until she had that conversation with Kate. So
exactly.
Kate does affect her. I will say though, like talked about putting respect on Natasha's name. They already did it in What If. Granted,
that's what I'm saying.
Scarlett Johansson's not coming back, but it could be a variant. It could be a different act. Get the actress that voiced her. I don't know. I don't know how she
how she physically looks.
Physicality and everything like that. But I'm like, you could pull Natasha, Multiverse of Madness, pull Natasha out of another universe.
There you go. Hey,
put her in the MCU.
I doubt that she'll do it, but rumor has it that Emily Blunt was the first person in line to play her. But of course, they want her as Sue Storm. That's the fan cast and everyone. Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. Chris, man, your thoughts on Maya versus her buddy, but more importantly, Yelena versus Clint, and again the whistle call back. All that stuff was great.
Hated Maya versus Kazi. We hate Kazi over here.
Kazi,
it's pointless. We don't like it, and And there's just something like, and I think maybe it was Austin that referenced it earlier in the live, that when we first see Echo show up at the end of that episode in that pretty much like it looks like a photo, like at those photo rooms, like those those dark rooms.
The dark room, yeah.
It looked menacing. It looked dark. And then when we did the live, you showed us the comic book, and you see the handprint. I'm like, yo, this is like a badass character. Like she looks like she's about to be valid.
Yeah,
we're not getting that, and we end the episode, and the fight was kind of whack. I didn't care for it. It was a cooler fight the other episode when she was fighting Clint, and and they had that exchange. That was cooler.
Yeah.
Yelena, of course, that's cool. I was like, just believe this dude already. Like I was kind of like, don't do this, Martha, Batman vs Superman thing.
Why did you say that name?
And then exactly, it's like, why'd you whistle that? Like, huh? Like, she taught me to whistle. Like,
there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
I do like Batman vs Superman.
Same here, man. Oh yeah,
you know how much I love it,
Michael.
All day, Mike. Stop it.
The ultimate edition only. But I had some qualms with the fight, but it's cool to see the serious moment. Like Austin said, it was cool to see that like she's smart enough to realize, okay, this. And to your point too, Elliot, like, you're not going to explain that. We're on this crazy ass planet with the red skull, and just trust me, it's crazy. Just don't go there. Fucking Vormir, man, fuck that place.
Farmer, never go on vacation.
First two halves of the Ultimate Cut were great, but you still have that shitty third act. Of
Michael,
Batman 2,
dude, this don't even open up that can of worms, man. I stand behind BVS, my friend. I stand behind it. But yes. Amanda, any more to add to this moment here? And again, like Austin brought up in regards to, she still had the rage. I think she just it's just like, I think it's anger more so losing her sister, more so than Clint just happened to be there and there's someone she just wants to punch because of frustration. But it's just a great moment. She finally gets I guess you could say closure. And in the way they leave off Yelena, it's just kind of like this respect for the two, and can't wait to see where we see her at in the future.
Well, she wanted to blame someone. She needed to blame someone. And that's what happens when you're grieving someone, like your feelings are all over the place, and she needs to take it out on him because it's someone concrete that you can blame. I love that scene. My issue is that like the conversation between Yelena and Clint, it was done well for the time that they had, but this is Nat's sister. Clint and Nat have such a long history. There needed to be more there. Not that you try to like shove this in while they're fighting. Like, I think that is something that really just didn't sit right with me. Hopefully we get other conversations in the future, but like for what they built this up to be, it was like very underwhelming because I wanted more than that. But I have to admit, since I am a crybaby, I did tear up when the whistle happened. So it's not a big deal. Like the same way I teared up with Martha, like I teared up with the whistle because of her face. Again, Florence, God bless you, girl. Performance and a half. But the one thing I was peeved about was the fact that they kept cutting with these fight scenes.
The Maya fight.
So it's just like, I don't know, like, why would you do that? And I was getting really frustrated watching that because I just wanted Yelena and Clint. I didn't care about anyone else at that point. And that buildup is what caused that. So like we've all said, having Yelena really stole everything from everyone else. I do not care about these subplots with like Kingpin and Maya and like no one cares, and it sucks that they took that away from her because all of that could have been done in her own show and we would have cared. So that's where I'm at.
I go back to saying I really do think that Maya should have been fighting Kingpin, and it could have been a tag team even. You could have had, and I actually wish it would have been a tag team to explain to me why Kate Bishop was able to, and we're going to get to this Kingpin here, but I would have even been more acceptable if it was Maya, Kate Bishop versus the Kingpin. That would have been, and she could have just killed her friend so much quicker and just get that over with. But I really do think Maya should have been in that room with Kingpin.
You gotta say the Maya Kingpin fight for the Echo show.
I know, man.
What if we don't get that fight?
Shows that's on TV before the show
exactly, man, exactly. But I don't want to neglect, because we even talked about this at the beginning of the stream. Let's just cut straight to this fight, starting with you, Amanda. I'll save my reservations to then. But we see Kingpin. He comes up. He. By the way, I don't even understand what he did in that moment. I know you guys brought up the comic book accuracy, but if my man pulled off a door off of a car, which I don't know if that was his cane, I don't know what did he do to pull that door off the hinges like that. And the fact that if you're pulling a door off a hinge and you're punching a girl, I think she should have died off the impact of just the punches alone, but I'll put that aside.
She's wearing a suit. She's got the
new suit.
I guess, Michael. I guess, man. Vibranium is on that suit because if my man is ripping off a car door and she can take a punch from him, speaks power scale in MCU is all over the place. But anyway, Amanda, your thoughts on this sequence? Kate, she held her own against Kingpin, who's still wearing a goddamn Hawaiian shirt. Like they couldn't put him in the black or anything, but
he wanted a good time. Like what?
He wanted a good time. He wanted a good time. We see the fight. We see that she doesn't beat him physically, but she uses her witch, the callback we talked about. She used the trick with that clinch shot shoulder. But your thoughts, Amanda, on Kingpin losing to Kate Bishop?
Losing.
Well, it was a fair fight. It was he lost to me.
Like when they say you should see the other guy. Yes, you see the other guy. He's limping and Kate won that round.
I agree, but I don't think that she was ready to take on Kingpin. Like even like Clint was like, I'm surprised that like you went toe to toe. Like you went toe to toe. I was like, yeah, but like for me, it's like it has to match up with what was said in previous episodes, and we did talk about it. Like if Clint says like I'm worried about this guy, this is the big bad, it should have been like Clint and Kate tag team against Kingpin if they wanted to do that.
Maya, Yelena, all of them,
like that, like everyone, let's beat this guy. But like that's fine, and I get that could have been like the first technical like villain that they would have faced together as a partnership. I thought that would have been better. Didn't make any sense. The power scale, we talk about it all the time. It doesn't add up for me. I think Kate would have been better matched up against like Maya again, because technically that's the first step villain, the intro villain, if that's the way they wrote it in episode 3. So again, like it just doesn't work. It doesn't cycle back. Kate Bishop's still a badass. I mean, that's
very
great.
true. I will not take that away for her.
Yeah,
that's a win on her. That's a character. That's a Kate Bishop beat Hawkeye or Kingpin. That's a bonus for her. My mind is still warped around that. But
I know, I feel you. And she had to protect her mom. So like I
had
get
to protect her mom. Yeah,
I get it. Do I have to like it? No.
Prison time.
With prison time. Chris, man, tossing it to you. My man ripped off a door, and I know I got to separate Netflix to this, but the fact that it took my man Daredevil 3 seasons to go toe to toe with Kingpin and actually get the better of him, and Kate Bishop did it in 1 episode. I'm taking put it aside. What did you think about the fight, man? And again, Kate Bishop, shout out to you. You're a winner out here in these streets, but L for Kingpin.
It left me not a fan of the scene, of course, and we talked about it earlier, but it left me kind of confused because I was always knew that he didn't have powers. So I was like, he was shot in the chest with the arrow. I was like, maybe I've been missing this whole, maybe he's
a mutant.
Enhanced. Gets shot in the arrow. The chest, there he goes. He just got a timeshare in Miami. And then he gets shot with the arrow. He's getting pushed around, and then if he's that strong, why is Kate not dead? To your point, I hated this scene a lot. Well, not a lot.
It frustrated me. I'll just see it frustrated.
And I didn't like. She used the trick about the snapping the thing, and I'm like, how much do you want me to suspension of belief here? Like to hit that, to trigger this, to do all it's a lot. It's a lot.
Superhero show.
I love Elliot's idea of making that moment where Maya has to help Kate, because then it's more believable. Like this girl's been doing this as a trained assassin for years and years. She's been fighting for years. That makes more sense. Then you can see Kingpin get away for sure. Like instead of you being face to face with this guy with a gun, now I have to pretend that he got away because he survived this bullet. I think that would have been a way better ending, but I guess that's where I stand. I'm trying to think if there's anything else from that scene. I think they gave Kate she would have been dead. Like you're not ready for this fight. Like Iron Man don't even let Spider-Man into the real big fights for a long time.
Yeah.
See you later, kid. You got to go. Like this game's serious. But now somehow Kate can hang with New York City's biggest and baddest. Kate can't even go to Brooklyn right now regular. Like if this was real life. but it's all a lot of suspension of belief. So
Yeah, for sure.
I had to do that, and it was like, damn, this is what Kingpin is like. I was like very confused because I haven't gotten to the big moments yet.
Yeah.
But I was like to my point earlier, I really think they could have made him more menacing
100%
without making it gory.
Yeah.
But that's just if it was Tait writing it or whatever.
Like, man, I said it on Sunday, and I mentioned it with Doctor Strange. I don't like when the MCU and movies in general, when they take down a character just to suffice the story. And I think they did that with Kingpin because it is Hawkeye, and obviously he's not going to kill Kate or Clint, but don't even bring him in if you're not going to even have him.
Because then at that point you could have still had Echo be the main villain of the show.
Yeah.
And then you tease Kingpin at the end
post-credit scene
instead of the musical. Which is okay,
we'll get there. Michael, man, again, I want to hear you. I know we talked about it up top, man, and again, your thoughts on. And Austin brought it. It wasn't toe to toe, I guess, because I take it as a win for Kate, man, in regards to how the fight turned out. But your thoughts on this? Again, him ripping off the door. He's wearing the Hawaiian shirt, and Kate gets the upper hand.
I'm like, you got to put some respect on Kate Bishop.
On Kate Bishop, yeah, and I will. Hey, she got the W, but again, a week of training.
But no, y'all keep saying that she got the upper hand at Kingpin. I'm like, but she didn't though. She lost technically. The only reason she only won, like she took him out.
Wait, she won. You just said she won.
No. I'm about to say she won because through sheer luck, but she didn't actually win the fight. She just got lucky. Almost kind of, and she outwitted him in a way.
Yeah,
but
she Spider-Man him.
Wilson Fisk was the stronger of the. It's kind of like the Doctor Strange moment with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Doctor Strange is more powerful, but Peter Parker outsmarted Doctor Strange, and that's how he was able to web him up. Okay. It's almost the same thing. The only reason she won is because of those trick arrows. Had those trick arrows, it's not like she gave him hands and she beat him in hand-to-hand combat. No, she threw an exploding arrow and it caught him off guard. But she got her ass royally beat. She was on the ground, like
she got up. I don't think she got her ass rolled. She was able to get up. My man just got hit by a car. He ripped a car door off of a car, and she is still up. I don't get it, Michael. I just don't get it.
She got beat up. If it wasn't for the exploding arrow, she wouldn't have won. And then also like. It's comics. Like,
it's comics. I hear you. Mike.
How is Batman escaping Darkseid's Omega beams? Like, doesn't make any fucking sense.
The GOAT. The Batman's GOAT.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I don't want to hear anything about prep time and it's stupid.
Listen,
his suit was cool enough to do.
No, it's Batman. Stupid. We can go there. So it's the same. It's almost the same thing. So I mean. I do wish Kingpin was a little bit more menacing.
Yeah.
Like, and the next part with Echo, like, if you're gonna do that, let it be the season finale of Echo series, not the same moment that you're supposed to introduce this big bad. And now I'm like, I'm not even scared of this Kingpin anymore. Like,
Michael,
I'm not even scared of him. I'm like,
yes.
Yeah.
He's a goober.
They have so much to rebuild this character. To me, they almost have to bring in another variant at this point. Like some other Kingpin this has to be the one who remains. Is like there's another Kang version of Kingpin out there because
he should have got away or something like.
Oh man, he was limping and looking for help. It's like Austin, my friend, help us out, man. Is there anything that we could say about this? I disagree with Michael. I think Kate won that fight, and the fact that she was able to withhold a punch.
It was a moral victory. It was like your team didn't win the game, but because you guys kept it close, you think it's a win. It was a moral victory.
No broken bones, no anything. I mean, she got a couple scratches, but
Kate had the same scratches the whole season. Every fight, she just gets those same those scratches. That's it.
Austin, man, is there anything we could take away from this scene in regards to the disrespect that I think was put on Kingpin?
So, in the comics, Kingpin just kind of does things that are unexplainable. And I think there are actually a couple of storylines that do explain that he does indeed have super strength, right? Not all of them, and I don't know if that's the case here, but he really does. So I don't think there was anything under his shirt. I think he got shot with an arrow. And then he also got hit by a car. So imagine this.
Yeah.
You get hit by a car. It doesn't matter if you're strong or not. You get hit by a car, and then some acrobatic girl with arrows jumps at you and starts doing all these flippy flips. Now you're still grabbing, you're still tossing her around, but you probably got like 7 broken ribs, maybe a broken leg. probably he's Kingpin, so maybe not a broken leg, but he's
So
very,
he's
very
wounded,
injured
is what you're saying. He's
because
wounded.
he just got hit by a car.
You're right. You're right.
But speaking of, where the fuck did that car even come from? Like, how was the
I
mother?
know.
Wasn't
know.
she in
She
the
got
back
in so
seat?
quick
I'm
and-
confused.
Listen,
Without-
you talked about Fast and
Oh.
Furious here. She is Domino Toretto's sister. But Austin, man, yeah. And so you're so right. He was. I'm with you now, Austin. He is. This is Jason Goes to Manhattan. Okay, he's Jason Voorhees. Yes. Okay.
Very much so. And he got hit by a car, and he just got stabbed by an arrow. So he's probably like, we didn't hear that or see that, but he's probably struggling at this point. So even then, I still didn't think it was much of a competition. He was just kind of tossing her around after getting hit by a car. Now she does. I think she wins. She outsmarts him and she outwits him. But he just got hit by a car. And yes, his hips should be broken. I completely agree. I think he's now, but the thing is, Kingpin is more than a man. He's always been more than a man. He is, he can't really be beaten physically. And not to compare to Daredevil, but there's a point where he's in a room with Punisher. I'm like, yeah, he could destroy Punisher because he just take him and twist him, you know, but that's the kind of, and I think they've carried over that strength and even more strength in this show. I think he's even stronger. And part of me wants there to be a storyline. Now, this wasn't established, that he feels as if because he had this connection with her mother that he shouldn't kill Kate Bishop at that moment. But that was never established. So that's kind of me just putting that together in my head. But for me, he was very much wounded. So that kind of explains to me why he got what he got from her, and then an explosion happened. So, but he still gets up from the explosion. That's what I'm saying. So it's
Jason,
like
man.
the guy,
Michael Myers.
he's Michael Myers. So it's like that's kind of how I saw that play out. And then the ultimate point, Elliot, that you guys mentioned earlier was that fight should not have happened in that episode. It should have happened in another episode where Echo, or I guess Maya, Kate Bishop, and Clint all should have taken him on. Not after getting hit by a car. That's what should have happened. That would have been much more epic instead of just this 1v1 battle.
I agree.
Have you guys played the Spider-Man PS4 game?
Oh,
I haven't
Yeah.
briefly. I haven't played it in its entirety.
much
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, like, the first villain that you fight is Kingpin, and Kingpin is Monty G said it. He's a monster. Like you gotta have some level of power if you're fucking up Spider-Man, who can lift like 80 tons. So
and kills him into the Spider-Verse. Kingpin is
He's scary.
I listen, man. Next time we see Kingpin,
and gave Miles the work.
If Daredevil ain't giving him those hands, if Maya's not even, I'm gonna be like, wait, so Kate was able to do this, but you guys who's trained aren't able to beat him. I'm gonna question it. Listen, we're gonna need another Kingpin. I'm sorry, give me a new Kingpin if that's the case. But wrapping up the episode, we see Kate. Eleanor, she says, you know, Mama, I love you, but you're going to have to spend some time in jail, which I'm glad they didn't kill Eleanor. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'm glad Vera Farmiga's still out there. She's in jail, but she's not going to be there much longer. I don't even think there's a jail in the MCU, to be honest with you, because if that's the case, as Michael would probably, Wanda would be in jail.
Wanda gotta go to jail.
We have a lot of Avengers in jail right now, so I don't think there's a jail system in the MCU. But we move on. We wrap up. We get the moment again. Clint is full on proud of Kate. You know, he's traced up, respect her. I love that moment there. But and we talked a little bit about her already. But Maya shoots Kingpin. We don't rule 101 in these type of shows, movies. You don't see a body, they're not dead, and you're not going to kill Kingpin in this show. We all know that. I would be very surprised if they do kill him. That's an L for Marvel. But wrapping it up, ultimate moment. Kate meets the family. She meets, you know, the family he's been fighting for. He makes it home to on Christmas, and they burn the Ronin suit, and they're coming up with names, and they flash to Hawkeye. Starting with you, Amanda, as we wrap up those final sequences, how did you feel about the finale, how it wrapped up? Were there any and I should say, the watch was finally answered. It was his wife's watch. They're alluding to Laura being a SHIELD agent at some point, aka I know people are bringing up Mockingbird. Who knows if that's a plot? But your thoughts on how they wrapped up this show?
It was good. It stayed true to Clint and Kate. I think that's the most important takeaway from this, because even cutting, like they were talking about names and then cutting to the actual title card of the show and having both of them talking about who they are, I thought that was really important. Like you said, if you don't see a body, they're not dead. It's freaking Kingpin. I don't think that they would kill him like straight out. I do think it was a stupid choice because again, you're leading into Echo. So that moment is going to lead into that, and we're gonna like think about that constantly and then we would want to watch the show because we want to see if Kingpin comes back, because that's the only possible storyline for Maya right now, unfortunately, with the way that they wrote this. But yeah, that's my only peeve with it was Maya and Kingpin, but it ended in a Christmassy vibe. Because it's the whole show that it's Christmas and they're
for Christmas
with the family. Like we all knew that was gonna happen. It's a Disney show. Like we get that. You have to have the feels. And Lucky with the dog made an appearance, which is always fun to see him. But yeah, I think they wrapped it up nicely. Apart from like the whole Maya situation, and we knew the watch had to be Shield. We've been saying it since we found out about the watch, and then after that phone call. So I just wish we got a little bit more of that, maybe in a season 2. But yeah.
No doubt. Chris, man, your thoughts on how they wrapped this show up? Was there anything that was left off the table? Was there a scene that you wish we would have gotten to wrap it up? Or do you think it was a pretty good, we're talking Christmas, that they put a good bow on the finale here?
Yeah, I actually had no problems with how they ended it. I love that he made it home for Christmas. I knew that he would. He never left me down. Yeah. So I like that. And I love Kate meeting the fam. That was nice. It was a cool little moment. The watch thing is so dumb to me. It's probably, I guess maybe I do have a problem with it. The watch thing is so dumb to me because it's like, not like, what was the point of that? Like, why do we we gave us nothing with that to go with, but it was a small little moment. It didn't really like bother me. Just thinking about it now, but I like that they saw the family. I like the ending. I like, you see like the target on the outside and he's burning the Ronin suit, the new chapter. It was a nice little bow on the series.
Yeah, no, and I think, Chris, to your about the watch, I think it just, if they would have found it, they would attach it to her, and her, like they said, someone's cover is going to be blown. So again, I don't know how 19 associates to Laura, unless like if you take off the watch, it says her full name inside of it. But nonetheless, they didn't want her cover blown. And I think you might have mentioned earlier, because I don't know why her watch was in the Avengers Tower anyway. Like, it was so valuable. Why are you just leaving it and having it on your wrist
or the Shield logo on it?
Yeah. So, Austin, man, your thoughts on this finale, or at least this final sequences here. Again, Kate meeting the family, essentially being the next Natasha for him, and maybe she's going to be their surrogate auntie of a certain extent. But Ronan's dead now. Ronan, I guess that storyline is officially deaded because they're burning the suit. So, any moments you want to see, Austin, or was it a pretty good ending for the show?
Yeah, I thought it ended smoothly. Before the show started, or in the midst of the first episode, they're saying, is he going to make it back home for Christmas? And I'm like, part of me kind of wants to go dark to where he doesn't make it home for Christmas and something happens to Hawkeye. But the second you figure out what the tone of this show is, you know where it's going to end, and you know it. Yeah. You know exactly where they're going to be in that final scene. In terms of the watch thing, I think Linda Cardellini, that's kind of setting her up to come back and explore her backstory at some point, because you don't just, unless it's just really bad writing, you don't just throw that in not for it to be a little nugget for something down the line. So it's definitely going to be something down the line. But the actual, the bond between the family, getting him back with his kids, and that's the way you want to wrap this up. So I thought they ended it quite nicely.
No, I agree. And I would love to see Linda get some. I hope it's not Mockingbird. I want something new, maybe something a little bit fresh, so they're not beholden to. Not saying that Mockingbird isn't cool, but maybe they don't have to be beholden to that and do something new and fresh with her. But Mike, man, we get the finale. We get the Ronin suit being thrown away. That storyline is now dead, except for that the sword's still out there. So it's still a little bit of Ronin out there. Jack's still out there and all that stuff. But how did you feel about how they wrapped up this episode?
Honestly, well, my biggest wish is Yelena would have showed up.
Oh, that would have been pretty cool
at the Christmas party. Like, this is her new family. Like, especially with the moment where she said to Clint, like, you spent so much time with her. Yeah, bring her home for Christmas. Y'all can have a whole holiday conversation about.
Kind of even cool if she was already there, like when Clint pulled up with Kate. And then Kate's like, she's everywhere, like something like that. That type of a funny moment. It's like, Kate Bishop. And then she has like a gift for her, like, and then she like spoils it. It's like,
there you go.
So watch.
We wrote a better ending.
A better ending than what we got. So that's the thing I wish we could have gotten. But as far as like I do kind of wish, like, even with like the mother facing concept, the mother getting locked up, I kind of wish, especially with the whole Ronan conversation and Kate Bishop pushing him to be better, pushing him to do the branding and everything like that. I kind of wish Clint faced a little bit more consequences, because I feel like that whole storyline was dropped, especially like, did he kill Maya's father? Did he not? But even if he didn't kill Maya's father, what about all the people that he did kill?
The vengeance and revenges that people, the other Mayas of the world. There's tons of other Mayas, I would imagine, that their dad was killed in the hands of Ronan.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I wish there was a little bit more with that. Like, it's like, okay, burn the Ronan suit, but I feel like y'all didn't really go far enough into developing that whole storyline.
No, I agree.
But yeah, other than that, I like the happy ending, like Christmas. It's gonna end on a happy. It's gonna end on that happy-go-lucky note. But I feel like Marvel is really mocking us, about the whole Agent 19-3.
Yeah,
dude, it's fucking stupid. It was pointless. Why put it in there? And yes, Agent 19 is Mockingbird in the comics.
Gotcha.
Now,
so it is,
is she Bobby Morse from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And she changed her name to not Linda. Linda is her real name. But she changed her name to Laura Barton. Who knows? Or she just like the Black Widows. There's more than one Black Widow. She's just another person that previously had the mantle of Mockingbird, maybe. But I'm just like, honestly, I don't think it's going to come back. I think it's just something that they introduced. Hey guys, you know,
Michael, this is Marvel. It's going to come back.
Egg. Like,
it's going to come back 10 years from now.
I don't think it is, but who knows? I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I think it was stupid. Like, why even put it in the why was the Rolex in the Avengers mansion? What the fuck does that have to do with?
To me is baffling. Yeah,
especially since Clint didn't even live there. Like,
exactly.
I could see if he was living there, but no, he was still on the farm.
Still
so like,
at the farm, it
didn't make any sense to me. It's just
Well,
I guess it was just another reason to have Linda Cardellini be on the show.
Yeah. And I think as far as like her story, Secret Invasion, man, you might get a cameo from her in that show, since we're going to get Nick Fury back for the first time in I don't know how long.
I'll ask you. So he's burning the suit, right? He's burning it to get rid of it, so it goes away. It burns to ashes, right? Now, maybe I'm crazy. I may not be remembering right, but earlier in the season, when the apartment burnt down, he went back to get the suit, acting like it would still be there, like it was fireproof. Right?
That's a good point.
I'm like, true.
Maybe he got the special Avenger fire that can officially. That's a good point, Austin. Yeah, and I mean, if the suit was, if you wanted to be burnt in the first place, it should have been burnt in Kate's
in the fire
apartment. Yeah. Hey, man. Listen, this as Michael said, it's a comic book show. I guess we'll throw that notch at it. But no, that's a great point you bring up, man. It does kind of weird how they situated that finale there, but. Listen, everyone at home, let us know how you felt about the finale, pros, cons, all that fun stuff to wrap up the conversation. And then again, Chris, I know you mentioned we get the musical. I don't want to leave that out. There is a musical. I've listened to it and I was like, okay, is there anything else? I fast forward through it. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I'm like,
really quick. Cool. What does this show take place in conjunction with Spider-Man?
I have no idea, Michael. I have no idea. Because
they're both in New
Statue
York.
of Liberty
during Christmas.
I know.
Was it up? Was it repaired?
I think it was up.
So it was up, and then they destroyed it in No Way Home. So
No Way Home.
I don't know, Michael. The timelines are a little bit. I don't know where Internals takes place. I don't know where Shang-Chi took place. I'm confused, Michael. I am confused. We need Kevin. We need answer Kevin Feige. We need it, but we do get that. The musical, which again was fun, I guess. But I know some people love the musical more than I did. I didn't really care for it. I don't think Chris did either. But
the thing about the musical, it was that on episode 1, I was like, I said that I was like, oh, this is cute. This is exactly what we would do if this was real life. They would make a musical out of it. The song is genius. I could do this all day. Like that, it's not whack, but to put it in the end, like we already saw it. You added just an extended version of it. This should have been, if anything, a little thing on Disney Plus where it's like, oh, bonus coverage. Here's the little musical number that we triggered in episode 1, and then have a real post-credit scene that mattered. Even if it could be an Echo thing, it could be a Kingpin thing, or a proof that Kingpin's still alive. Like it's predictable, but at least we'd have been like, all right, figured, and then we would have kept it moving. It's like, we weren't expecting a post-credit scene. We didn't get them pretty much the whole season, so it was just crazy to me that they included it as if it was like this new content. I'm like, we saw this already, and we said it was cute, and now we hate it.
I think Marvel heard how people thought that was so cool, and they just threw it in probably at post production of it and added it in, because I think there was probably a different post courtesy if there even was one. But it is what it is. But last topic I had for you all, we got what, 5 shows, if I'm not mistaken, including What If. And I'm just curious, starting with you, Amanda, if you were to rank those bad boys off all the shows, including Hawkeye, where are you at? What's number 1? What's number 5? How is it looking? Are you excited for the rest of these shows and all that stuff?
Yeah,
It is yours.
I'm definitely excited for the rest, especially Moon Knight, like 100%. Oscar Isaac, God bless. I'm so excited. And She-Hulk. But for me, Loki is number 1, just because of that fantastic reveal at the end. It was the first time that I was surprised all year, to be perfectly honest, apart from No Way Home. That was just such a great moment. So it would go like Loki and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then number 3, I would put WandaVision, and then Hawkeye and What If. What If didn't stick the landing for me. There's some great concepts in there. And we're going to see that unfold, hopefully, because it is canon, obviously, what we saw in Doctor Strange. But the episodes just, some of them didn't fit well, and the structures were weird. I wish the show as a whole was better, but Hawkeye does fall at number 4. I'm so sorry that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's number 2. Please don't hate me. But yeah.
Great list. Chris, do you have a list, my friend, in regards to your least favorite to your favorite with all the shows we got this year?
Yeah, I do. I just made it 5 seconds ago. It's hot. It's fresh.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
And I'm not willing to die on this hill, but I have Wanda 1, 2 Loki, but I think those 2 to me they can flip. 3 What If. I really like What If. I didn't even include that as if it's like it's kind of like the multiverse, the Spider-Verse for me, I should say. It's kind of like just out there, but I really enjoyed it a lot. That's number 3. Number 4, Hawkeye, and of course number 5,000, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm sorry.
Of course, the caveat of all caveats is that I didn't hate any of these shows. This is just my ranking order. I do love Bucky always. I just don't like the
White Wolf.
Every time we rank it, it's like screw Sam Wilson.
All the way at the bottom. All the way.
Hashtag give Bucky a boyfriend.
He'll never rise above. Yeah.
Austin, my friend, again, we got some interesting shows, some hiccups, some things to look forward to. This is only beginning. The Moon Knight, She-Hulks, the Mystical, and so many other, the Secret Invasion, and so many other things to come. So phase 1 of phase 4 TV shows, what is your ranking?
I'll start at the bottom. I'll switch it up. Start at the bottom, move my way up. I will. I'm with Amanda on this one. I think What If is some really great episodes, but then some episodes that were a tad bit just off for me. So that was my last place. And to preface, not all of I like all of these shows to a degree, so I don't think any of them are bad. Then next for me would be Falcon and the Winter Soldier. A big miss on the villainous storylines and just a bit too off in terms of pacing and tone. Next up, I have Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is I wouldn't say it's in contention for my top 2, but it was my least anticipated. So the fact that it's that high is pretty cool. Number 2, WandaVision. It gets closer to Loki. The more I go back and watch it, it played much better. And I loved it week to week, but it played much better on rewatch because the finale didn't bother me as much, even though I still don't really like the finale. But really great show. And then Loki, number 1. I think what Loki did for that character and setting up the future of the MCU without feeling too shoehorned in there, just really, really awesome. I love that show.
Great list. Mike, we got it. It's on you. I wonder if Hawkeye will end up on number 1. So the anticipation is killing me. So Michael, man, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going to, because I keep saying between Hawkeye and WandaVision, but I'm going to give it to Hawkeye as number 1 because WandaVision, and I'll put WandaVision number 2, but I think what they did with Monica Rambeau pissed me off enough that it pushes it down a little bit. I hated what they did with Monica Rambeau in that last episode. I'm not even going to get into it, but
it's almost like a Maya comparison if you kind of think about it. Just kind of how they sideline the characters.
Yeah, not even just the sidelining of her, but like what they ended up having her doing and like putting
Hanging
herself
out with Ralph Boner.
Not even just that, but like putting herself in front of Wanda's white kids and her getting shot, and then being the only black character in the show and defending Wanda. Like it's almost, I'm like, it's giving me mammy tropes. Like I can't, I don't like this. I don't like this. A lot of black.
She has a lot. They have a lot to make up for in Captain Marvel too.
I talk about this with Fantastic Frankie, all the time. Like that, it pisses me off. So because of that, that knocks WandaVision down for me. Okay. So that's number 2. Mm-hmm. Number 3 for me would probably be What If? There are certain episodes that like I didn't really care for, like the Captain Marvel episode. That's the bottom of the totem pole. I mean, not Captain Marvel. The Captain Carter episode. That's the one I like the least. And the Party Thor one, I didn't really care for that. But like what's the episode? Episode 3 with the Black Widow, the Avengers dying, all other episodes I can't think of off the top of my head. Those are some really strong episodes that I really enjoyed. Yep. And just the what if aspect of it. It was fun. So that would be number 3 for me. Number 4 would probably be Loki. I feel like episodes 3 and 4 just sucked. Episodes 1 and 2 of Loki were great. And like the season finale with Kang, like I really loved that, but I didn't love it because of Loki. So that's why it's so low on the bottom for me, because I'm like, it didn't really do anything for the character. And then I also have a big problem with the whole bisexual reveal and all that, which I talked about when I was on the show. So I'm not going to repeat all that. If you're interested, you can check out the episode. And the bottom of the totem pole for me, even though I didn't hate the show, but Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No joking.
Huge problem with
you heard it, man.
Yeah, huge problem with how they treated John Walker and how they basically faced absolutely no real consequences, even from Bucky and Sam. They kind of like walked away buddy. I'm not a fan of that. I had a huge problem with the speech that he gave at the end. And it was all like a kumbaya moment. Not at one point did he like it's as if racism only existed because of the blip. Like I had a problem. The conversation, how disrespectful he was to Isaiah Bradley. I had a big problem with that. As if he's talking about, I grew up in the South. Okay, then you should fucking know better. Like, I'm not even. I can go into a rant about that.
Hey, we need that TikTok. We need another TikTok.
I've already done. I've done plenty of those videos. You can find them on TikTok and on my own YouTube channel. But that whole racial politics about Falcon and Winter Soldier, it fucking pissed me off. Like they didn't really go far enough with it. So that's why it's. And then also like I feel like Sam's character didn't really get much. Like it was all about
it's very confusing.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I feel like Bucky got most of the storyline. We even got to see Bucky go on a date. Like, what do we know about Falcon's life besides he has a sister? Does he have a love life? What about his relationship with Riley, his former partner? We don't learn anything about that.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Great list, guys. Just to make mine quick and short and sweet. Number 5 for me is probably, unfortunately, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Amanda,
you heard the man.
It's all
you know I love them. I don't hate the show. I do enjoy the narrative. It's the flag smashers for me.
I know.
I still don't understand Sam's back and forthness of him wanting the shield, not wanting the shield. I still don't concretely know why he didn't take the shield from the get-go. I'm still confused about that. And I'm not at the point yet where I think he can hold his own movie. After the show, I think it's going to be an Avengers. It's going to be Civil War with his film.
It's true.
So that is my number 5.
And even the Power Broker shit is stupid.
I didn't even think about the goddamn.
Yeah, I forgot about that. When you got to the Flag Smashers, I was like, oh shit, the Power Broker. That shit
Power
was
Broker.
Too,
Oh wow,
Sounds
Broker.
Sounds like it was number 5.
Number 5, and then number 4 for me is going to be actually Hawkeye. I enjoyed it. We talked about it every week. I just, at the end of the day, I love, as we talked about in the stream, Kate and Clint and Yelena, great characters, but all the other supporting characters, whether it be the Jacks of the world, the Eleanors of the world, we talked heavily about Maya, and then the ice on the cake for me was just the disrespect for Kingpin, as we talked about. So number 4. Number 3 for me is definitely going to be What If. To Michael's point, I mean, there was just so many incredible moments. I love the Ultron episode. I love I love me some zombies. I love that. And then the episode that made me actually like Doctor Strange was the Doctor Strange episode. Like I
good.
love that tragic story. So that was great. And then the possibilities of them maybe being in the live action just gets me excited. Number two for me is number two. This is a tough one for me. I'm going to go with WandaVision. And great show, the mystery of it. But the fact that I have this at number two, I don't think hasn't been a show this talked about since Game of Thrones. The conversations, the speculations, the theories, the Mephistos, is X-Men going to come? I mean, literally, and you all remember from the beginning of the year, that was the most talked about show this year. It probably was more talked about some of the movies this year. It was the most talked about show that I've seen in a very long time. And then I think about episode 8. WandaVision talking about grief, one of the best MCU scenes to date for me, and it's just incredible. So that's my number two, which leaves me with number one. Low key, I'm a little bit biased because I love shows like Dark, and I love like multiverses. The consequences here affects this, that, and the other. So I'm biased to that degree. But I thought it was actually a really good show. It opens the door for many more things to come. And then Jonathan Majors, I mean, come on, my man was rocking sandals. My man, which is that had hair. I mean, it was just great. And then we get a season 2. Out of all the shows we just mentioned, that was the only show that got officially greenlit for a season 2.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see what they have up its sleeve. And what if, my apologies, yeah, what if did get greenlit, which I'm excited to see.
Right.
Shang-Chi, what if? Eternals, what if? Black Widow, what if? Spider-Man, what if? It gets me excited to see what.
Definitely the Eternals, what if? Like if they were allowed to intervene with different things, I guess that's like a big angle there.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
I love it, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, 2.5 hours later, this is what we do. We geek out. We have a good time. We have so many great conversations. Amazing guests, Michael and Austin, amazing co-hosts, and this has just been such a fun journey from the beginning of the year all the way to the end of the year. What a journey, and I couldn't be more thankful. So
I know Amanda has to go, but can I say one last thing real quick?
Shoot for it, my friend.
It's all good.
Shoot for it, Michael.
Talking about the post-credit scene, I completely agree with Chris in the sense that they should have released it as like an extra bonus content as opposed to there should have been a more relevant post-credit scene, or just don't do anything at all.
Yeah.
But I will say, considering they did give it to us as a musical theater buff, I liked being able to get the entire moment and the entire scene and see how it played out. And I was like,
showing some respect to them. Yeah.
If Disney and Marvel are smart, they would give us a real live version of Rogers the Musical, and I would be
Hannibal all over.
But they could have given another song. We heard that song already. Like, just give us another song from the musical, like a different part of the show. Like,
I mean, they can't reveal all of it. Come on.
Oh,
no, I'm saying I agree. It's stupid that they put it at the end of the post-credit scene, but because they did, I was here for it. I was like, all right, I get to see the whole stage. Even though the costumes are trash, if we get a real life version of it, we need to get better costumes. But
yeah,
okay. I hate that we're even talking about.
I got my degree in theater performance.
Who was the last guy? Like that wasn't Spider-Man. Like, who was that?
That was
Ant-Man. And he wasn't even there, which was so dumb.
Or was he, Amanda? Or was he?
Well, somebody I know on TikTok did a skit that basically said the way they got the rights to Rogers the Musical, or even learned how everything happened, is because Scott Lang is the one that divulged all the information. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I was totally there." So
that's
like,
funny.
Oh,
I love
okay.
that.
So I'm like, in my mind, that's canon. That's
okay.
canon.
I like that. Oh, and just on that point, I know Amanda got to go quick around most anticipated next show that's been announced. What's your number one for Phase 4?
Moon Knight, baby. Moon Knight, yeah.
Chris, She-Hulk, Austin.
Moon Knight. For sure.
Moon Knight.
Same with me.
Oscar Isaac.
Same here. I can't wait. So Amanda, I want to, before you leave, again, Amanda and Chris, thank you guys. It has been awesome seeing you guys' faces every week, chatting on the DMs, getting to know you guys more. It's been a complete honor, and I couldn't be more thankful. Austin, man, the love and respect I have for the grind, the hustle, the community you built is amazing. Michael, the energy, the information you bring to the platform, the energy, the happiness, the smiles, the facts, all that stuff you bring. You guys are incredible. And to all the wonderful guests that we've had, I see Sean was in the chat earlier. He was on the stream at one point. Griffins of the world, Frankie's of the world, Brandon's of the world, and so many other wonderful people we've had. I couldn't be more appreciative, and I can't wait to have more of these conversations come 2022. So Amanda, outro on you first. If you want to let the people know at home where they can find you and what's next on your wonderful platforms.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity, Elliot. This has been like just a roller coaster of emotions and fun since January, and I've met so many incredible people through you. So just thank you so much. And like, it's always fun with Chris and Michael and Austin. You're a rock star. I don't know how you do it, man. But yeah, I look up to all of you, and you guys inspire me every single day to do something new and to just create. So just thank you all for being amazing. You guys can always follow me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. You can check out my website, candidcinema.com, and my YouTube, Candid Cinema.
Do it, guys. Amanda is incredible articles. I can't wait to see the YouTube videos come back because I love your presence on screen. So guys, check her out. She is great. Amanda representing the East Coast, watching legends like Steph Curry. I just saw Derrick Rose is out for 8 weeks. So Knicks, I'm sorry, my friend. But Chris, man, it does, my friend. But Chris, again, man, it means a lot to have you on every week, man. I can't wait to see what Tait's Take has on his YouTube channel coming soon. But hey, man, why don't you let the people that know at home know where you're at, man?
Yeah, of course. First, a shout out to you. You put me on to streams and collaborations. I think besides this, I've never done another stream besides we did Christine. But that's really it. So, you know, we just created a nice little team here. And Amanda, we're probably at like 98% like attendance. So like, it's like, you're like a constant. So it's just so impressive. And it's just like, the time that we put into this, it's like it doesn't go unnoticed for Elliot taking the chance and, like, you know, deciding to talk to us. So that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Michael, you're all right too. I already know when Michael's on, I'm gonna learn something about like the background, like the comics, and just the energy is great. So I always appreciate when Elliot has him on, and I'm sure he's just always ready to jump on. And Austin, you're my hero, so I'm just not even gonna say anything else. Just relax. Let's see. Tait's Take is my channel. That's true. Yeah, it's my channel. What are we talking about next on Tait's Take? We're doing Insecure, the last episode. Well, I just did the last episode for 9. That's up on my channel now. And then the series finale, the whole show's done. It's over. That's it. December 26th. So that'll come up the day after that when I do that. And then I might get back on my true crime wave. I got a nice little true crime special to watch to see if that's good enough for the people. But I haven't done some good old true crime in a little while. But Netflix has a lot of stuff coming out, so I'm gonna get back on my Netflix wave. But just for anyone who watches my stuff, I appreciate it, and you know, just really excited to keep doing these for the upcoming shows and Marvel stuff. So thanks again, Elliot.
Hey, man, like I said, so, man, to keep the grind going, man, it's the personality for me. It's the jokes. It's the banter you have. It's the research you do on the projects you cover, man. It's amazing, man. So continue to grind, man. You're doing your thing. And speaking of the grind, Austin, man, tossing it to you again. Thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you so much for being a huge, personality on the space that can be very dark and scary to get on. But when you get on camera, man, and throw the energy that you do out there to the fine folks, and again, the community you've built, it's just amazing, man. So again, I appreciate you, Austin. And again, I know you got 1,000 videos lined up for the people. Where can they find you, and what's next on Austin Burke's amazing channel?
It can be dark and scary, but thankfully we have channels like really all 3 of you to just keep us going, and you guys doing this every single week. It's incredible the time and effort that you put in, and yeah, I like to make a lot of videos, but you guys are so just good at what you do. So thank you for doing this show and inviting me on. I really do appreciate it, man. And you guys can find me youtube.com, Austin Burke, at Talking Everything. It's streaming, Netflix, movies, TV shows. I've just started working on my end of the year lists, and it's the best time of the year because you get to reflect on all of the good, some of the bad, but all of the good that you were able to see and watch and experience. And Michael, it was so good to finally meet you. My goodness, I'm such a fan. Yes. So it was an awesome panel to be on. So I appreciate you for inviting me.
No doubt, man. Again, Austin, I appreciate you, man. And hopefully more collabs in the future, my friend. And speaking of collabs, Michael, man, I'm so glad we were able to link up, my friend. You introduced me to people like Frankie and Ron and all the great people that you have on your community that you have put out there. And again, the opinions, the laughs that you bring, the energy you bring is second to none, man. So I appreciate you, Michael. If you want to let the fine folks at home know what's next on your platforms, my friend.
Yeah, Elliot, as always, I always say thank you for having me on the channel. I always get excited every time you ask me to come on. I mentioned this way back when, but I call you the Nick Fury of YouTube content creators. Like through you, I met Chris and Amanda. I met Griff, Lady KB, A Christine, and now I've met Austin. And funny enough, I was like, because I mentioned before, like I got my COVID shots and I wasn't really feeling that well. But then when I found out Austin was, I was like, oh no, get your ass up! Like you have to be on the show to meet Austin. So you saying you're a fan of me? I'm like, I'm a fan of you. Like, so I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you again for having me on the channel, and hopefully this will not be the last time. Austin, yes, yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah. We definitely need to link up
for sure.
And, as far as what I got coming up, I don't fucking know. Like I wake up every day was like, what should I do today? I don't know. What's out? I don't plan. I don't come out with 1,000 days like Austin or whatever. But oh yeah, The Matrix is out, so I need to see that. I guess I'll review that. So yeah, other than that, I don't know what's coming out. Like, but check out my YouTube channel. Check me out on TikTok, Twitter, all my social media. It's all across the internet. Black Gay Comic Geek. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Do it again. Amanda, Chris, Austin, Michael, thank you guys so much. Again, their links are in the bio. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on the replay, click the links, subscribe, do all that stuff. Hit that bell too, because they always constantly putting out some fire content. So again, guys, you're awesome. I appreciate every single you all watching this. And again, happy holidays. Be safe out there. Keep your family safe, guys. Do the stuff that we've been talking about since the beginning of the year, you know, before we can find a way out of this nonsense. But it's people like this that makes the community you know, that we've built just worth it every single time. So again, thank you guys so much. Have a great holiday season, and we'll catch you next time.